Good morning. Today is June 7th, 2023. The time is now 9 a.m. I'm Kevin Day, Chair of the Custer County Board of Commissioners, and I will call this meeting to order. If you do have your cell phone, please silence them at this time. And if you would join me for the pledge, please.
Yeah. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And for the invocation, please. Father, we come before you this morning. We thank you for this beautiful day that you've given to us. We thank you for this opportunity that we have to come together and to take care of the business of the county. We ask that as we come together here today, that you would be with us. We ask for your guidance. We ask for your direction. Guard our thoughts, our words, and our actions here today. We ask this in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. Okay, roll call, Kelly, please.
Commissioner Day.
Here.
Commissioner Kanda.
Here.
Commissioner Flower.
Present.
And clerk to the board, Kelly Chamber.
And audience introduction. Then we'll go ahead and start right here then.
Clyde Butler, I'm the airport manager.
Janet Rhodes from the library. Jenna Calkins, also from the library, and Jennifer Cree, admin to the board.
All right, and I don't think we had extras online a minute ago. So if anyone goes to speak later, if you could identify yourself for the record, I'd greatly appreciate that. Any amendments to the agenda?
None from me.
Ready? Yes, sir. And we did minutes yesterday, right? So we don't have them today. Like I say, it's been a whole day since yesterday. Commissioner items. Commissioner Flower.
No, I don't have anything since yesterday, so.
Mr. Kanda.
Got two things.
Go ahead.
One is, you recall we had the meeting yesterday on the tax issues that state counties are faced with. And we have a plan forward to get together and do lots of things, part of which is to protest it. One is to support the lawsuit that's going on. And so we have today, I did talk to Christy Burton Brown, who is part of the Advanced Colorado people that are on that lawsuit. There have been 11 counties that have signed, and they're going to put a press release out today on counties that lawsuit and counties that support it. And there are several. We missed the lawsuit to decide whether we want to be in it. So what I want to do is to support that, and I would like to ask, and this may be by consensus or we can vote on it, to let them know that we do support that action as a county, and that that enables them. What she wants to do is just put out the press release, include the counties that are supporting it that are not in the lawsuit. Well, I would propose that we do that, and I would like to call her back and say you can use Custer County's name as one of the counties that support that. That's my first issue. So if we want to vote on it, we can. If we don't, we can do it by acclamation.
I think I would be willing to make a motion to write a letter of support to, what is there?
And I'll ask
We're
them.
going to write it, or we just going to, they've already got it written. Right?
They've got something. Well, we can work that. Let me be able to talk to them. They're going to put it in a press release. If they want us to say we have a resolution, then we can go work a resolution, or we can work a letter, or we can do whatever.
We could tell them we're supporting it today, but if we don't have a resolution, we can't do that. So.
Or a letter, formal letter from us if they want it.
I would make a motion here this morning then that we would contact them. And what is their name again?
Advanced Colorado.
Advanced Colorado. That we would let them know that we are in support of the lawsuit that is being brought.
I'll second. Yeah. Oh, you got it.
That's right. Okay, so I do have a motion on the floor to support the lawsuit from Advance Colorado. Is there any further discussion on that?
And I'll get back with this as soon as we see what else they need.
And just for those that are present here, that is in regards to the increase in the taxes and specifically to Proposition HH. So
Appreciate that.
yeah, if you weren't at the meeting or you haven't been in the loop on that, then you're not aware of that. So, and they have filed a lawsuit against the state on Proposition HH, specifically on the grounds that it covers all items.
This morning, noon.
Oh, he's coming at noon.
Right.
I still got it mixed up.
That's
I
okay.
was gonna say I could keep him busy. till
We
you
have somebody
come.
not moved. We have
Well,
somebody muted.
Okay.
That's probably Ann. There you go. Thank you. So those in favor of supporting the lawsuit from Advance Colorado signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion does carry. Go ahead with your second item, sir.
Okay, second item is after yesterday's meeting. I want to talk about the STR revocation. I do not know those people. Never talked to them, and I haven't talked to them yet. Well, I hadn't planned to, won't do it. However, I got thinking about the fact that our jobs as commissioners are to support the citizens of the county and to give them the ability to prosper here. One of the things that we all agreed to is the short-term rentals are a good thing to have for the tourism industry. We don't have hotels here and those kinds of things. Also, I know that these are kinds of businesses that are there to help people make a living. I don't know what the impact is on our decision on the Smiths or not. It's generically that I'm talking about. And we have to be careful how we handle that. We're a small county. We're not a large county that would cause not a bureaucracy, but the rules and regulations matter. And it matters if you break them. And if they break them by not getting a manager in on time or whatever, that's something to be considered, and we need to reprimand them, penalize them, or whatever it takes. That's the right thing to do. And we did do that. However, being a small county, I don't feel, after thinking about it overnight, that we gave enough effort, in my mind, to make sure that things were done so that we gave them a chance to still stay in business or not. And meaning that I know there was a lot of, and we didn't have enough information until we started into the meeting on how many times the communications happened. Who he was responding to was Jackie Hobby, for heaven's sakes, on an email that he had, that he thought she was still a planning and zoning officer. A lot of those things, and after we had voted on the facts, and then Tom opened up the issue, you do have a booking, should they continue? And I thought that was probably a good thing to think of. That I was sort of going that extra mile, although I think we could have done better and not even gotten there in the first place with a little more diligence, and had really gotten into whether the communications were clear and whether things were there, because 2 strikes you're out. But the 2 strikes you're out kind of thing is, as long as you have the communications, would be okay, but it wasn't, because part of the receiving wasn't coming back. So Dorothy didn't have an understanding that they were responding or not. And then I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt to the person. Now, do you know whether they're lying or not? I don't know, but you still have to work, and we're a small county and we care about our citizens, and our job is to support them. So I would like to reopen that, and I would move that before I do that, Robert's rules is great. Robert's rules are what we agreed to go by, but there's different types of Robert's rules. And on a big county with a lot of things going on, or the Congress, Robert's rules to the max matters. So you can keep order. We didn't have a lack of order. We have a process that we can agree to with the 3 of us sitting down. You don't even need Robert's rules if you don't want to, if we agreed not to use them. So I feel that we have the ability to relook at that And I would like to move that we allow them to use their bookings through September and then reapply in the next year, like we had planned. I think it's the right thing to do. I think it's more, it's ethical. I think it's right. And we're a small county. I think we deserve to serve our citizens best the three of us can. So if we wait to do that, I don't know what the impact would be. I would hate to have them be calling their people now and canceling things that they need to have to keep their business going or whatever for the future. They're going to get a pretty big impact by cutting short and then having to get back in line to reapply anyway. That is what I would like to do. I move that we go back the way we had planned to do it after Tom opened that back up, to allow them to have their bookings through, what was it, September the whatever it was. Yeah. So that's what I would propose.
Okay,
If
so
you don't want to second it, you guys can. If you do, that's fine. We can vote.
I have okay, so I do have a motion on the floor. Do I have a second?
I'll have a comment if I may, sir.
Okay.
I probably won't second it because I think it needs to be an agenda item. I think we need to post it.
But that's our
occasion.
point. We can
And then we're a little. Have you had an opportunity to talk to Dorothy since our meeting?
No, I haven't. I said I haven't talked to anybody. I know Dorothy, based on what she said, gave it her honest effort up to that point. But I believe we, not knowing, and she didn't know that they were replying to Jackie as well. So I think it's fair. And then Dorothy can rework that with them.
Well, I'm certainly willing to have another discussion about it, but I think we need to put it on the agenda.
That's another issue. We can decide not to do that or not. I don't think we need to. All that'll do is just delay it. If we do that, I would like to get a hold of them to tell them that, because the next agenda isn't going to happen until the end of June. That's a month. So that's why I think it's worth doing now.
And just for the sake of conversation here today, it's not an agenda item. I would have moved forward with it, but I would not be willing to second that at this point. I believe I would stand by my decision yesterday on that.
Put it on an agenda item later.
If you want to, you may. At this time, I would not support it.
It's up to you guys. I'm telling you how I feel.
That's good. If you gentlemen would like to put it on an agenda item for later, we can do that.
I will.
Okay.
And I will talk to Dorothy, so
So
Yeah, I think it may be prudent to contact Mr. Smith. So
I do
too.
I'll ask her to do that.
in the meantime, though, until that decision is made, the decision that was made yesterday is the one that is in place.
He may,
It's okay with me.
who knows what he's doing, he may start canceling and stuff, I don't know, but yeah, I'm not opposed to having another conversation about it.
Okay, that's all I have.
Cool. I have a couple of things as well. Dorothy was going to have an item put on the agenda. We did not end up getting it on, and that was for pursuing that
SIPA grant.
for the Granicus. And we had stated at a prior meeting that we would support her going for that. I believe she has that grant lined up. She was waiting for, I believe, some final paperwork in regards to that grant that had our name on it. What they had sent her was a sample from.
So when you're saying she, you mean Deb Adams?
Yeah, you don't mean Dorothy.
I'm asking, I didn't know.
I do mean Dorothy.
Okay.
Dorothy is the one that is pursuing this, not Deb Adams.
Good.
Okay, that's right.
That is through our planning and zone. I believe we could probably ask her that when she is in here later. I believe she is going to be here in person. And So we can, if not, then I would ask that we give her a call when her time for her report is. And go ahead and maybe ask her that question so she could move forward with that if she has all of her paperwork in place.
Mhm. Yeah, that SIPA grant program is open now through the middle of July, 14th of July.
So I have that, and then just a quick update. I did go to the Florence Fire meeting last night. We were not on the agenda yet. But they are in possession now. Two of the board members at least are in possession of the GIS maps that I had Vernon make up for us. So they have that they can get spread around down there that their board can look at. That's all I have. Jennifer, do you have anything?
No, sir.
You say no?
No.
She said
I'm
no.
sorry. Public comment. If anybody has anything they'd like to comment on that's not on the agenda. I'm not seeing anything online, and I'm not seeing anything here in the room. So we will move on to the staff reports. First thing on our agenda would be the West Custer County Library Board. So you guys are up.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome. How are you?
How are
Jenna?
you? Jenna. Nice to see you again.
Hey, kiddo, how are you?
How are you?
Doing
Nice to
okay?
see you. Yeah, good to see you.
Thank you.
So did you guys get, since there's only one chair and there's two of us,
Oh,
if you don't mind.
yeah, it's fine.
Did
Whichever
you
you're
guys get
comfortable with.
the
Let's pull that
copies?
chair
We
back.
do. Ours are actually in color.
Yeah. That's what actually, we were hoping that yours would be in color because
Get that out of the way.
they're here. Fancy. Okay, thank you. So we just wanted to, we're required to tell you how we're doing at the library. So these two reports tell you how we're doing. So things have bounced back after COVID years when everybody kind of went down. Do you have any questions about any of these stats that are in your report?
Oh, go ahead, sir.
I do not know. I was gonna say, I don't appreciate the information. Yeah. At least the first one I'm looking at, you know.
This one's a lot fancier.
The pretty one?
The pretty
Yeah.
one. Yeah, we like
Pretty.
this one. Is
Yeah.
It's a good one, good way to do it.
Go ahead, sir. Sorry.
And I thought I was looking at another chart and
There's
maybe,
two.
okay.
There's one that has it's from our cataloging
Okay.
system.
I was scrolled down to the bottom on the second one. So
Okay,
actually on the top, I was noticing that your in-person is actually down a little bit in 20. Oh, that's just for 2022. But that's right at the end of COVID. I think when people were starting to get out and they were just making sure they got out.
Jennifer.
Yeah, it's interesting that 2020 was the highest. Oh, that's card holders. Sorry.
yeah.
Oh, okay, that's not visible.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I was, forgive me then, I was reading my chart wrong.
Oh, right.
No, it does. I mean, the number is down for 2022 because we went through and did a major system cleanup. We had a lot of people in the system who hadn't been in the library in like a decade. And so we figured they probably weren't planning to use their card.
So you,
So we did a major
okay,
system cleanup. So the number looks low, but we're hoping to see an
But in all
increase.
actuality-
in the coming
That's
years. Yeah. We were unintentionally padding our stats, so.
Yeah.
Got it.
and I do still get those updates, and those are, I appreciate getting those.
yeah, all of you, I've been sending it to all of you, whether so,
Been getting them.
yeah, good, great, good. Just let you know what's going on.
Is just out of curiosity, are the checkouts increasing or is the electronics taking over?
We actually are seeing an increase in checkouts. We saw a huge jump in electronic usage during COVID because
Yeah,
you know,
that's
we were
only
closed
choice.
for a while, and then people were they didn't feel comfortable coming in. But now that we're
People
open
like
again,
books still.
and people are coming back in, and we have a lot of stuff that's like sports equipment. All of that's been really popular, especially with our young families in the community. So we've seen a big uptick in physical checkouts.
Good.
So
So, and it's pretty evenly divided between film, DVDs and books. But especially because we have an older population, the books are still really, really popular. So.
Like the smell of books, smell of a DVD.
Doesn't have
Not
the
quite
same-
as satisfying.
Still in the VHS state.
Yeah.
So I think Nan was telling me it's pretty similar stats from Wetmore.
From Wetmore?
Yeah.
I just wanted to tell you, I think you might have seen in the updates that we sent that we had that Pi Day and we're starting to buy outdoor equipment for checkout. So you just bought
Camping equipment.
Camping
The
equipment.
tent just arrived yesterday.
Oh, okay. So we have the tent, we have
Excited
the
to set that up.
headlamps, we have
Trekking
trekking
poles,
poles. We have still
hammock.
have money to spend. So we're getting camping equipment to check out.
Interesting.
Yeah. And we'll have another pie day. Make sure you come by. The pie was awesome.
I think that will be an
I'm
annual
trying to
event.
find my belt.
You better get ready.
So they can pretty much get it all then, because they can check out the Parks Pass and hit the trailhead and away they go. And
Exactly. That's our hope.
do we have a backpack to pack the tent on?
We do.
Yeah, we've got one and maybe get another backpack.
So
So
Yeah.
that's good.
Good.
We're not providing the car for car camping.
So the library isn't just a library anymore.
That's correct.
we're not just about books. So
Good.
Good. And the word seems to be getting out about your non-book stuff.
It's slow.
I
A
think
lot
so.
of people still think about books. It's harder to get that out.
Yeah.
our
People
new
are often surprised.
newsletters building though.
Yeah.
We launched a electronic newsletter at the beginning of this year, and that's been very helpful for
Been advertising pretty well. Advertising so people know.
Well, we do that. I write
been
that.
ramping it up,
Yeah,
so.
we have a newsletter to all of our card holders. I've been writing that column that appears in all of the papers once a month, where I've been talking about that stuff. So yeah, getting the word
That's
out.
good.
I think once they become aware of it, then they remember it.
Right.
I know I called down there for zoo passes one time, but it didn't work out for me to come and get them.
Those are
I
really
think the
popular.
word is out about the zoo pass.
Yeah.
They're pretty much
Always.
always
They're
checked out.
gone.
So,
For
yeah.
the Cheyenne Mountain Zoo or what?
Pueblo.
Pueblo Zoo.
Cheyenne Mountain is a little pricey.
Yeah.
Hopefully one day, but
And I understand now you can't walk up and pay and go in. You have to do a free online reservation.
oh really?
They won't
Oh,
let you
interesting.
do admission to the gate anymore.
Wow.
Very snuffy. Well, good. Good.
Anything else from you, sir?
Not for me.
The only other thing I wanted to say is Mr. Canada will be talking to you, but we've talked to Mr. Day and Mr. Flowers on this community outreach and community needs assessment that we're working on. Probably take us most of the year to interview people, broad spectrum in the community about how the library can come alongside. So we're doing that's part of our long range plan, is to get more community input about how we can, so
Gaps we can
yeah,
fill.
we can fill.
Enjoyable conversation it was.
Good.
Oh, really? Because mine was torture. Oh, wait, you're still here. Sorry. We're good.
All right.
Good. All
right.
Very
Thank you,
good.
ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you
Appreciate
very
it.
much.
Doing a great job.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Thanks
much.
for taking the time to come in. this morning.
All around.
Yeah.
It's up to you.
Nice meeting.
We'll talk bad about you if you don't.
You can do the airport since he's here.
Yeah, because Virginia's not in here yet. Would you like to go ahead and do your report while you're here? And then if you could call Virginia and tell her about 5 minutes.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
You guys see, Jim.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Good
and
morning,
then,
sir.
thank you, Clyde. You have to make sure Clyde gets a
How are
copy
you,
of
sir?
the agenda before
I'm
he
good.
knows what time it gets to come.
And the airport's not on this agenda at all, are they?
It's on the back.
Actually, they're
They're on
on
the back at 10:30.
they're on for the non-in-person, but he came in person in.
I got you. I'm still trying to figure out.
I didn't know I could send in a report. I
You
thought-
can, unless there's something you really want to tell us that's different or.
That's a new item here now, so
Okay.
we've just started that, so we're still in the flux stage here.
Well, that sounds like a good idea to me. Okay, my name's Clyde Butler. I'm the airport manager, the new airport manager. This is my first time reporting before the Board of Commissioners. So I hope I have all the information available I need. If not, I'll do better next time. And I've been told that the main thing you guys want to know is our fuel status, how much we've sold, how much we have on hand. And the numbers on that, as of the end of May, the last day of May, we had not purchased any fuel. We had sold 318.5 gallons. We have 1,037 gallons left in stock. And fuel revenue was $1,992.89. Now, beyond that, I'm like for you to ask me questions if you need any more information than that.
Things like, well, I just give you a heads up. We got a fuel tank that's not been calibrated. We're still waiting for it. Kind of
Yes.
tell us what's going on that. The other one is we got another fuel tank we're going to put in, but we haven't got the engineering done or whatever the status of that is always useful. And then the ramp itself, when are we going to get the cracks in?
Yeah, okay, I've got notes on all of that. This calibration, the new system, the new fuel tank is ready to go into service, except that it has not been state certified. The calibration on the meter has not been certified yet by the state. That's supposed to be done on June the 12th. So on June the 12th, there's a day or two after that, we should have it in service.
What's the calibration on an ounce every 1,000 gallons?
They have to pump 60 gallons, I think. And I don't know what the parameters are and what the leeway is. I don't know that. I'll find
But
out.
that hasn't been done. They're going to actually do the test.
Yes,
Okay.
and that's supposed to be done on June the 2nd.
Got it.
The
The
crack
second
seal,
happened already.
no, it hasn't happened.
July.
Everything
It
else
was
is ready.
supposed to have been done the second.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Okay.
supposed to have been done. But everything keeps getting pushed back.
Right.
The crack seal has not been done yet. It was supposed to be done in May and they postponed it till June. They haven't set a date for it yet either.
Probably waiting for the weather to clear just a little bit.
Maybe.
It looks like it's going to clear and then it doesn't. It
Well, personally, I'd
continues
like,
to rain.
yeah, I'd like to see it continue
Me
raining.
too.
We're still planning the Air Fest for August 12th. Planning for that's going pretty well. That's all I can think of. If you,
And Armstrong hadn't gotten back on the
the
new
fuel,
option
no,
for the
the jet fuel,
jet fuel.
the jet fuel. Nothing has been set on that yet. Armstrong, we did talk to at the last Board of Commission, Airport Board meeting. We did talk to Armstrong on the phone. And they gave us some estimates. And Brian especially wants to wait and see if we can get OT6 to kick in a little bit more money so we can get a better system. Because it looks like right now we only have enough money to get a bare minimum system, a small tank even. So he thinks that he can get, well, I can't talk for Brian,
No,
but I'm hoping he can get some more money kicked in from the OT6.
Okay.
They would be the primary customer anyway, so it'd be to their advantage.
Mhm.
And you don't need to give out the number, but is the gate combination the same as it has been, or did you
Yes.
guys change
Yeah,
it?
none of the combinations have changed.
See, the AWAS antenna's up and running again.
What's that?
The AWAS antenna is up and running.
Yes,
again.
it's been working pretty good. It's only been down once for a few minutes over the last month since I took over.
It's worth going to that website and taking a look at it because it's pretty good.
Pretty good indication.
The
of the weather.
pictures are really good, both northwest, east, and west, west, north, south. They're all beautiful pictures.
So maybe one of you two gentlemen could answer this. I'll ask you first. The acronym NOTAMs.
NOTAMs, what does it mean?
Yes.
Notice to airmen.
Okay.
They've changed, FAA has actually changed the definition of that. It's not notice to airmen, it's notice to
Mission.
air mission.
That's where the M comes in then. Okay.
Yeah. Had to change men
Used to be
to
airmen.
the mission
Okay.
because there are women flying now.
There always has been.
Yeah. Getting to be more of them.
Sounds like things are moving on.
That's good.
Moving forward. Courtesy cars are both repaired and up and running, so.
Yes, I think Road and Bridge has one of them right
Oh, they
now.
do.
But,
I know they're doing work on it, so.
yeah. That's going pretty good.
And this other tank, that's going to be taken out of service as soon as the new fuel system's up and running. That's not eligible to be used, for the Jet A.
No, it's an old tank. It's not in very good shape. One of the reasons they're getting rid of it. And it's a single wall tank. So we have to build another retaining wall around it and all that kind of stuff.
Okay.
It's not suitable for jet fuel.
Trying to sell it though, right?
Yes, the board of airport directors has been trying to figure out a plan for selling it. And there has been some proposals, but nothing has been set yet, for sure.
Good.
Well, that's as much as I can grill you in hot seat.
Sounds good, sir.
All right.
Yeah, I would like to encourage you to provide the board with a frequency usage of your rental car or your courtesy cars as we go through the summer.
Okay, I can do that.
I think that would help us to know how much they're being used.
Okay, I'll put that on the report.
Thank you. I give you glowing marks for your first report, sir.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Good. Thanks for coming in. Appreciate
Yes, sir.
that.
Well, thank you, guys.
Yeah, have a good day today.
See you next time.
All right. Well,
Or sooner.
I'll send it in next time.
Oh, yeah, I won't see it. You can count on us not seeing you.
If you need to talk to me, I don't mind coming. Just let me know.
Perfect. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Yeah.
Thanks. Be shorter.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Good.
And you're in your finest art form.
Yeah, well, I don't know if it's finest, but.
The airport fund transfer we did.
It'll be next
on the
month.
next month.
Yeah. Kind of bad that I'm so much behind an extra month, but May isn't completely done in the system, so I have to do it that way.
I would move we accept the treasury report for the month of April.
I'll second
Okay, so I have a motion on the floor to accept the monthly treasurer's report for April. Any further discussion? I'm going to say our self-insurance fund will even out by the end of the year.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not supposed to have a negative balance. So that's gonna have to be, something's gonna have to go with that, fix that. I don't know what. Talk to Sam about it.
Because most of that money comes out.
As it gets paid by taxes, yeah. It's paid out the first year. This is the first time it's ever been negative like that.
Anything else?
I do not.
Yeah, I have a motion on the floor to accept the treasurer's report for the month of April. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Yeah, I saved a good copy and did not spoil it.
All right, well, thank
Virginia,
you.
thank you.
Appreciate it. Sorry, I was yawning.
That's okay. Yeah.
Thanks.
The record, Virginia.
And
We got a written report from Lloyd Smith.
The sheriff was not able to be here today. He wants to be able to present and let you know what's going on. But he did submit a written report for you all to review. So then you know what's going on.
right, and that is,
Must be
I went-
looking at,
Yeah, I
I
can't
went,
find it.
I mean,
I don't think it's in our board pack.
well, he sent it to me late, so give me just a second to make sure.
I'll scroll through to the end.
It is not in mine.
Okay, so,
We'll go ahead then and move on.
and I'll.
Let's,
move it.
Let's, we've got the OEM in here. Let's do that first while you're dealing with that. So if you would like to come up.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How
Thank
are you?
Good. Thank you for the radio.
Oh, you're welcome. Yeah,
I
I kept
appreciate
forgetting to bring it in and
Morning.
You're back.
I'm back.
hope it helps.
Oh, yeah, it'll really help.
Good.
You can't have mine, but I don't have a commissioner one anyway.
I know you're wet more.
I'm gonna hang on to it and not give it back. I'll be one of those people.
Monitors from the road there, guys.
Right.
Well,
You looking for a radio too from me?
no,
I don't think so.
we're good. We got one for Jennifer.
Good.
So we got Tom's from Jennifer. And I got a plan to switch out a radio for Dorothy. She has a newer radio, and since she uses it for just emergencies, if she has a flat tire or whatever, then we can give her an older
Good.
radio. So yeah. Okay, well, good news again. You approved the emergency operations plan on May 30th. So that puts us in compliance with the EMPG grant. And Jennifer has promised she's going to finish the cover. She made it all pretty. And we'll get that out to the state so we can be in compliance by the end of the month. Working with the special districts and their towns to also get resolutions for them. I'm on the agenda for Round Mountain and West Cliff. I got 2 more to get on the agenda for. But they are not required to have resolutions, but I am going to still push for a resolution because otherwise it's just buried in some minutes and it's not as formal. And I'm really the town and special district emergency manager.
Right.
So because they have no emergency manager, they fall within the county's plan. So, and then we'll be doing a orientation to the plan at the next CES LAPC meeting. We've changed that from the beginning of the month to the 3rd Thursday. Because there's so much the beginning of the month. That way I'm going to push that back a little bit, see if that works for folks. So that'll go out.
So the June meeting will
Is
be
the 15th
15 to 10 o'clock.
Thursday.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And that's 10 o'clock. start.
Yeah, at SAR. Mhm.
Well, shoot, I'll be in Hawaii. That's a bummer.
Oh, well, I saw.
You can zoom in.
I'll zoom in.
Yeah, you can zoom in from the beach. Which island you going to?
Oahu.
Right, that'll be fun. Okay, so the second portion of EMPG, you already approved for me to apply for the additional special project funding. And so you asked for a list of things that we would be applying for. So I have that list for the up to $40,000 for the EMPG special funding. And when I talked with Christy Coleman, just the three areas that we have are for equipment. They're all for equipment. And the way I have it broken out is it's equipment for a generator, equipment for radios, and equipment for EOC.
Mm-hmm.
So the radio portion is about $5,000 and could not be approved. It's possible it would not be approved, as apparently over the years with Homeland Security and emergency management funding, they really want everyone to start budgeting for replacement radios out of their own budgets. And so I'm still in the process of trying to get a grip on the inventory.
So what does that mean? Does that mean this is not going to be funded?
It's possible. It will go to the bottom of the priority list.
Okay.
So that's why I broke it out into the three sections. And so the three sections need authorized local government representative, signature title organization. I don't know if that's you as the chair.
That's been me in the past.
You as the, okay. So these are three sections. I want to go ahead and submit this grant. So get it off my plate and get it into the state. So I have three different little packets. One,
Are they going to not? They're not going to want to do radios, but not necessarily the like batteries and stuff. Or would that be applicable? Or not? I mean, that's something to consider. Are we going to be accountable at a board level to fund everything for radios to work, or is it just going to be the radio equipment itself?
oh, in the budget, there's everything.
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah. So, I mean, we have enough in my budget to handle it. Yeah. If we have to have new batteries and things like that. But I think it's more of an issue of older equipment and equipment that is not accounted for. So I don't know if you can sign those today.
Sure.
I don't know why I'm just missing one of them, but maybe because I dropped my. Oh, here's the other one.
Just keep trucking along.
Our discussion the other day, did we have a motion to approve pending this list?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is
I just wanted to make sure that we didn't need to have a vote on that.
Thank you.
Yeah, we did. Thanks.
Yeah, and that's me.
Just a quick question, if I may.
Sure.
Had you thought about, or is there a need for any portable light sets?
So interesting. I found out we actually have a portable light.
Oh.
Yeah. With a generator, and it is housed at the fire department.
Oh.
And it is assets of OEM. And so that's why I have broached the subject of really finding a better way to keep track of the assets from OEM.
Well, there is a pretty slick way to do that. Take possession of it.
Well, there is now, the
Yeah.
alternate problem is, where
Storage.
do I put it?
Yeah, exactly,
I
right.
could put it at the sheriff's office.
Yeah.
He's already said he could, I could do that, but then again, I have the same problem,
Yeah,
except it's a little
exactly.
closer. But like, I don't know if the fire department knew that it was their light tower. So I really am grappling with this inventory issue and would like to request a part-time staff person to handle this inventory and keep it up to date and maintenance the truck and so forth. So I will be bringing that forward.
Do what?
To
You want
inventory
somebody to inventory.
assets and to keep them up to date.
Is that an independent audit or you want somebody that you want to hire?
I want to hire someone to do that on a part-time basis.
So that's your choice to
So,
figure out.
okay.
If
So-
you have the money,
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta have the
you
money.
don't.
If you don't have the money, then you can come and ask.
Yeah, okay. So it'll either be now, because I think I have the money, but I just have to double check with my budget and like the fact that some of the costs were not allowable for Bill Christie's salary or EMPG reimbursement because of the way he was hired. And so therefore I was trying to be significantly careful in the way that Jennifer will be hired. So we also have a gap in between where Bill left off and Jennifer will come on as the assistant. So those are salary gaps where we can't, get any reimbursement because we didn't spend enough staff. So
Have you given any thought to a security fence somewhere so that you could house all your stuff?
I have thought about that, and I thought it kind of made sense to really co-locate with the sheriff. Just maybe add on there.
No,
Well, could maybe add on to
Yeah.
his fence as save a fourth of the fencing maybe, but
Yeah.
yeah,
one side there,
I'd
right?
like to see OEM be separate storage for that kind of stuff than the
Mhm.
sheriff's office eventually. But
Mhm.
that's just my thoughts after hauling stuff over there and parking it and getting it and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was
I
thinking
have
if it'd
thought
make
about
any
it.
sense to do a fence to the east of the SAR building and back it up to the wooden property fence or something, chain link fence, but then you could keep your generator,
Mhm.
light sets, the BMS signs, whatever it is, that trailer, your vehicle, all that stuff could be parked in.
Yeah,
your-
the other thing I've thought about is maybe a Connex. Be pretty easy to put that stuff in there for storage.
Yeah, you couldn't put the signs or the generator in there.
And the
Put the
county's
sign.
got these rules on Connex.
Do they?
You gotta-
Oh, okay, well, I have to
Good
paint them
thing
the
it's in-
same color?
Yeah, you put OEM on the side. and
But just a thought.
Yeah, so I've
keep
thought about those
thinking the
things.
more and more bigger stuff we get at OEM, we ought to have our own.
Yeah,
yard.
it'd be nice to have something and a carport and, all that, so, but yeah, haven't quite gotten there yet. Guess we'll see if.
Yeah, if the radios get kicked back or. Or she won't get that.
Yeah, I won't get the
won't have an
opportunity probably to,
resubmit, will
yeah,
we?
Reese, I don't know, I can ask Christy if she would entertain a backup.
Yeah, just thought.
So HMP, the next grant, FEMA did approve that plan, so we're all set till 2027. It's kind of old business now, which is great. Moving on to working with John Grieve, who is the Colorado District Forester. Meet with him this afternoon on putting together the next set of plans. So the next iteration is community wildfire preparedness plans. And we have two in the county. One is Puerto Verde, it's quite old, and the other, can't remember where it is, but those have to be specific to a neighborhood. And so what I'd like to do is get more neighborhoods involved in doing mitigation for their homes and property. So I'll be working with John. This, I believe, Adrian wanted to send this out to contract to an off the same contractor who wrote the mitigation plan. And I think I was trying to get that done as he was scooting out the door. So this is not uncommon to have this community wildfire preparedness plan But the district forester doesn't like county plans. He thinks they're too big, too broad, not neighborhood based, and not specific enough about things need to be done at the neighborhood level. And there's a lot of partners involved in this, so you have to have the sheriff, the fire department, the forester, and the HOA folks involved. So I'm working together with Reggie in Extension, because that's part of her job working for CSU, is to help out with mitigation as well as extension. And so we're coming up with some ideas on how to get more homeowners involved. And so I'm trying to talk John into doing a countywide CWPP with annexes to each of the neighborhoods. And so the thought would be to, instead of write a new plan every time you go to a neighborhood, is to template the plan so it's fill in the blank. So those folks don't have to do significant amount of work. The threat for wildfire is fairly similar, although, you know, different humidity levels and things like that, like in Wetmore area. But I'm hoping we can take some of that information and just replicate it in each one of those neighborhood plans. So that's the new plan I'll be working on.
One thing Adrian did do that was pretty good was he conducted several meetings in the library. He used the library to bring in neighborhoods to talk about the big picture on fire mitigation. And it's sort of an advertisement to help them understand they need to get involved. So part of that, you probably ought to consider something like that.
Yeah,
Passing out.
We did do that last Saturday.
Did you? What was it?
At the fire department.
Yeah, but I think he did it pretty, it was really localized. I was pretty neat how it came together, but.
Yeah, well, we had the National Weather Service, which gave an outlook of the weather for the summer. We had the fire department who talked about fire department's not going to just come in and save you. You've got to, you know, have a way in and a way out and all that.
So the only point I was trying to make is that several times, not just once a year, or like sending out flyers or something. But,
oh yeah, we need a whole mitigation strategy. I mean, there's just a lot more that we
need. Hit them more than once. Here's the need at homeowner. Here's what's available for them. Yeah,
exactly. So yeah, you'll hear more about that mitigation a lot more. Homeland Security grant. You probably remember this was that VMS signs, and then we put in for a portable generator. And so we need a proposal under soft targets. And so I've been working on an idea. Soft targets has to be large gatherings, crowded places, and the assets have to be deployable. So to the region. So you can't take a security camera and fix it on a county building, which it is more complicated than that. And I think Sheriff Smith is working on that anyways. But these would be schools. This would be events like the community dinner, rodeo, festivals, and churches. So right now I am in the process of doing my final research to come up with a security kit, safety kit. That safety kit would have reflective vests for someone who might serve as a quasi security type person at that event or at that church. And that also has proven in research that if you have someone who looks official with a vest on, it's a deterrent, number one. And number two, people tend to follow that person's lead and stay more calm because it appears that it's somebody in charge. And, you know, at church gatherings are not hierarchical, you know, so they really, you know, don't have that authority kind of stuff going on. So this would give them just a very low key way to say, you know, I'm the safety person. And as Sheriff has put the bleed kits in the patrol cars, I would like to have stop the bleed kits at all the faith-based organizations, and then also radio. And that way they could, if something happened quickly, you know, the problem is if you're in a church and your cell phone doesn't work or you can't call, that person wearing the vest would also have that radio and be able to call for help quickly. And so basically it's about $675 for a kit. And then we would provide training on radio protocol and safety and first aid training for those tourniquets and stop the bleed kits. So that is.
Oh, I'm sorry. What type of radio is that that fits in a $600 kit?
Well, unless I'm wrong, is this the radio that looks like a good one to you?
Safety kit, you're thinking stuff that would fit into a bag or a trailer to go to?
No, it would just be just a small backpack with multiple tourniquets, some gauze, and stop the bleed materials. They have all the kinds of stuff that you could buy in these kits. We want something very basic because they aren't going to intubate and do all these EMS things. So this is very common. This is the result of the Aurora theater shooting, where the police were allowed on the inside, EMS was not. And so now they've been equipping the police with now more of those emergency. Does that look right?
What's your cost on these?
$1,600 for a 6-pack. I thought that was pretty good. No belt clip, no battery, no charger.
$100 each.
No mic clip. So $330 something each. So
And that would be the HSG grant.
yeah, and again, who knows, because we've already been denied once, and this is our third scope change.
Yeah.
So
Your Pueblo hasn't been denied.
I guarantee they got $310,000 out of the $600 last time, and we don't have
Real greased, real hard down there in Pueblo.
and
I knew how.
all their funding is going away from CSEP. So they've been dividing that money, that Homeland Security money, by 4 ways for a while. There's no 2021 money. There is 2022 money, but I'll talk to you about that later because that's complicated. So do you need to see that project before it goes?
Homeland Security grant?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think so. And while we're touching on that subject, can we go back to this real quick? So we don't forget, are we okay for her to proceed with her?
Yeah, that looked like a pretty good bracket. It's not just asking for 40K and
Yeah,
looking for
it's,
it. That's what we were concerned about.
Right.
Looking for how to spend it.
I think that fits the bill of what I was asking for.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you.
We really didn't give her a formal
You
decision.
said we wanted to see it.
Oh, you just wanted to see a list. I mean, you actually approved it before, but to see what it was. Cyber, Vernon submitted the cybersecurity grant, and it was a very low-key grant application. And so I was surprised at how little was in it.
Dollar amount on that, I'm sure he'll tell her.
Well, there's no charge on the grant for the first year. So number one, we have, they'll write a plan annex in concert with us. And then secondly, they'll provide us the CrowdStrike software. And so by budget time, we will have an idea of what the ongoing CrowdStrike costs are. They're per nodule. So there's about 60 some computer users. So
it wasn't a dollar grant, it was a service grant.
Service grant, and then they're giving us the software, and then after the grant is over, we start paying for the service contract. And so we can decide if we like it or not. I mean, there will be changes in how we do computer business. Things around our passwords, definitely. Probably around our generic emails, those CCOEMs and PIO. So there will be some work products that'll feel a little different and restrictive, I'm sure, but it will make it safer, and we don't want an attack. So And because it's part of the state portal, and part of their, CISA, the Colorado State IT group, they would provide us more support in case there was an attack, even though they provided, Fremont a significant amount of support as well.
Mhm.
And they had their situation. So training, as you know, I attended the PIO in Cortez with Jennifer, and we have the ICS EOC class coming up June 14th. And then I also attended a assessing structure fire training on May 8th and 9th, having to do with getting me more well-rounded in that mitigation with the fuels and how those fuels transfer from home to home. A lot of studies have come out that, you need to move your shrubbery back 5 feet from your home and put in rocks so that those embers can't come down into your leaves and your vegetation by the house. Making sure that, you have your structures on the property further away from your home. So if they catch on fire, they don't blow up those embers and put them on your home. So that was a really good class to get me more proficient in those specifics for mitigation. We did have the wildfire preparedness day that I was telling you about. We had 12 general public, which I guess is not too bad. There was 22 of us there between National Weather Service and U.S. Forest Service and the Fire Adapted Colorado. We had a hot dog roast, and I think the people that were there got a lot out of it because we had good lecture series. But finding more ways to do that outreach. And I have offered that to Wetmore. I have a little trouble getting a hold of them, as I think they're is their chief volunteer? Is their chief volunteer Wetmore?
Everybody's volunteer.
Yeah, so I think it's a little harder to get a hold of them, but I certainly can offer that type of thing at their location as well.
You do have Clay's number.
I do have Clay's number now. I think you gave it to me. So we just got back the repair on the cell panel for the VMS. And so we're going to get that sign put back into full service.
I know it was under warranty. Did you ever see an invoice amount, how much it cost?
Which, the repair?
Mhm.
It was under warranty, so it didn't cost anything.
I know, I'm just wondering.
Yeah. How much it did cost? I have no idea. No, I was just really lucky that someone called me from the vacation rental where it was sitting for 2 weeks, where it was misdelivered. Yeah, in fact, they called Alexandria and said, it's a familiar name. So
Is that over in San Isabel or?
no, it was weird. It was like 5336 Rosita Road. So obviously it had something to do with 328 instead of Rosita Avenue. And it went to the wrong address and sat out in the rain for 2 weeks. So it was bubble wrapped, but yeah, so yeah, so tracking that down, I was just lucky to get it.
Oh, you're talking about the panel.
The panel.
I thought you meant the sign had been delivered to the.
It was a panel. It was just a little panel, but it was like, 18 little computer chips, or something. So
Wow.
Who is the delivery service? FedEx?
it was either FedEx or UPS. I'm not sure which. I still have the cardboard because I'm going to take it off.
FedEx tends to have more
Is it
problems than UPS.
Installed and functioning or?
No, I have, I'm going to ask Jordan to help me install it.
If it didn't work, it'd be nice to know who the shipper was.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. We'll figure it out. But yeah, he took off, it was somewhere weird in the middle of the sign. So he took one of the further panels and put it in the area where there's lights. And then we had the bad panel down in the far corner, which doesn't usually have much anyway. But so I just emailed him this morning, asked him if he could help me put it back together so I'd know how to do it, or if he wanted to just do it. So yeah. And I also numbered them because they weren't numbered. And I also put Custer County on there because there wasn't anything on there.
Good idea.
Yeah.
We got them and put them into service.
Yeah. So, yes. And I need to buy a few supplies to help with that hookup and stuff too. So I'm gonna buy some tools for the truck here soon. I also had a borderline fire discussion, as we had a couple of incidents over, especially in the San Isabel Pueblo area, where we had a couple fire starts and they were reported as Pueblo, but it turned out to be Custer. So I initiated a conversation with all of my counterparts and Christy Coleman, and quite a few other people came from dispatch from all the counties in the region, Fremont, Huerfano, and Las Animas. And we didn't really develop any new protocol, just a realization that we really needed to help each other and not, point fingers if it turns out it was reported as one place and then it was another county. And so, talking to Chief Ware and, some of those over in Beulah, they know that they're probably going to be on scene because they're the closest. It's probably their residents that are going to get evacuated, and probably he's opening the fire department over there. So, but also been doing some outreach with him and the mitigation group, and getting him dialed into that. So that's been a good relationship there. Working on the radio inventory. And then I did attend a Zoom meeting. I sent you guys an email about it with something called Crisis Track. You may or may not hear about that at the state level. I don't know if you heard anything about it at CCI or not, but maybe next year. The state has provided every county in the 2 tribes a portal for this Crisis Track survival portal, where they would put in their information about what damage they have to their property and what their needs are. And I think it's something that we can, as we get more information, continue to decide if we want to accept that portal or not. There's no personal information in there as far as, social security, date of birth, etc. But there is privacy data in there, just because their name and their address would be tied together, or their phone number. But it's a tool, and it probably would be helpful. I don't know if it fits into our bigger picture or not. Also met with the Saddle Club president and vice president, and Sarah Shields, who is going to be our animal expert and sit in the EOC to help with the large animals, and talked about whether we could use the Saddle Club or not. And it really is a case-by-case basis based on the rodeo and other 4-H events that they have, Gymkhana and so forth. And I think I mentioned that met with Reggie and Caitlin for animal, and we'll be working on an animal evacuation annex. So the EOP is never done. It might have been approved by you guys for the next 3 years, but we're going to be adding annexes for animal evacuation, cybersecurity, and there's just a whole list of stuff that we need to do.
Way to do it.
Yeah. We did have the last CES LEPC meeting as a training and exercise plan workshop we hosted for all of the counties. And so we had that discussion about the borderline fires and things in the morning, and then this integrated planning workshop in the afternoon. And I'll be submitting our IPP to the state by the end of the week. That'll be for 2024, what we want to do for training and exercises. So we'll probably haven't finished all of it, but one called Evolution of a Disaster. It's an exercise, kind of a beginning level disaster exercise. And then we may want to have something that has to do with how to declare a disaster. And so something where the OCC would be involved. Working on getting Jennifer moved over to OEM, as you know. I was a guest speaker last night at the new Sangre de Cristo Ham Radio Club. We had 40 people in attendance. It was great.
I ran into Bill Christie yesterday.
Did you? Yeah.
He was gonna go.
Yeah, he was there, and a lot of other people, and I'm pretty excited about that because they're kind of an extension of OEM, if they decide to come on as amateur radio emergency services group, depending on what they want to do. And
When's your start date, Jennifer?
the 23rd,
22nd.
23rd, 22nd.
22nd.
Oh, 22nd would be last day here.
Yeah, so the 23rd is your
Yeah.
start date, huh?
That would be true, wouldn't it? Because she's quitting on the 22nd.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think she was trying to cover that last meeting. This weekend we have the Custer Kids Council. And I'm doing a mitigation activity for kids, and we're putting a little house on a Lego plate. And then we're putting rocks around the 5 feet and trees further away from your house, trying to get them going. And then I have a meeting with the FreeCom director and the sheriff tomorrow morning to just clarify when they're going to call me, when they're going to call the sheriff, and we're going to see if we can't get that coordinated so that it's similar to what they do for Fremont, so they don't have one protocol that's for one county and one protocol for another. It's just standard, pretty much standard procedure is that they need to call us. Like they did call me during a hazmat, and they had a hazmat, so that was
a
good.
Zoom meeting, or you going down?
No, I'm going down so I can tour FreeCom. I haven't been down there, meeting with their director, Angela. And then tomorrow afternoon is the ESF 5 meeting, also in Fremont. And then we have a salamander training. I don't know if you guys know what that is. That's the
Yes, we do.
credentialing and on the 21st, and we need to revive who can run that machine and how to run it and what we're going to use it for. It has an inventory tracking as well, so that might be a good option. There's an online training the 13th that I'm going to take.
I believe our IDs are expired.
Are they? Yeah, I don't even have one, so.
Yeah, it's been years.
Been 5 years.
Has it? Okay. Well, there's lots of different ways to cut that cookie, because I would prefer we get all the badging done that we can, and then we only deal with the people that aren't badged at the time. That way it makes a lot easier. But I do have somebody from the sheriff's office attending, because right now I think they're still issuing
They do.
for their folks.
At one time, I think Ruth from Whitmore Fire was a user.
Yeah, Ruth enjoys doing it, and I'm trying to get her to do stuff for me, but I think a little overextended.
She's very overextended.
Yeah. So really nice lady, but we may have to move on. We have, a new group of ham operators. They might be interested in that. We'll see. I think the CERT team, if we can get that going, might also be a good group for that.
Did your ham group meet at SAR, or where did they meet?
No, SAR won't let them meet there.
Where'd you meet at?
Library.
Oh.
Yeah, it was packed.
Room full then, yeah.
Yeah, it was totally packed, but it was really good. And probably have a ham that I used to work with from the Denver area. He lives in Monument now. He started the Citizens Emergency Response Team with their ham club. And so I think he's going to come down in August and be a guest speaker and talk that up a little bit. And then I'm going to the CERT conference the end of the month, and wanted to ask about coverage. What has happened in the past if the OEM is out of state? Has there been any thoughts to asking a neighboring OEM to?
Thought that was the generally accepted approach.
I would think so, because I just don't think it's fair to Jennifer to just be the only person here for, being on the job.
That's what it was.
What was, okay. I'll see, because since I'm going to that meeting tomorrow, I'll see if I can get any volunteers. And
Christie's covered.
Christy has, okay. Yeah. So we'll see, because I just don't want to leave it uncovered and And Jennifer's probably too new to really, you know, run an EOC.
I think.
Probably.
Make her earn that paycheck.
But I did ask if she could go to that EOC training in Wetmore on the 14th.
That's wet more with a capital M, by the way.
It's spelled KINGDOM.
Yeah.
You all are invited to the class as well. It's really how the field talks to the EOC.
Yeah, I don't have an issue with it.
Yeah, that would be a small M on there.
Oh, okay.
Even though he thinks big.
Nothing wrong with thinking big.
Not at all.
Mm-mm.
All righty.
Vision. Any questions?
Thanks, no.
No, very good. Thank you.
Okay.
Have a good day.
Carry on, do good and do it often.
Yeah, right.
Thanks for all coming in.
Thank you.
I guess we get through roadblocks even if our cards expired.
Well, I wouldn't bet on it. But never know.
I put this in your packet.
No,
You like to visit this now or
no, it's late.
let Braden if he's here? Come on up, sir. Morning.
Good morning again. How are you?
How you guys doing?
Good, good.
Good, sir. You're back. I'm back. Despite your best efforts. There we go. Right. Trying something new this month. I'm not trying it, enough time to get it to you ahead of time.
It's a new drive.
And moving forward.
Since you had to be here in person, you didn't have to get it in early.
Right, yeah. Well, that's what I figured I'd use as an excuse if it came like that. All right, so just wanted to, these are some of the things that I thought would be good to report on every month. That way it gives you kind of a 30,000 foot view at least of what's going on in finances, insurance, and human resources. And then we can kind of drill into anything that we need to beyond that. But I think there's been some holes in the past, especially when it comes to like workman's comp and cap claims. And,
For sure.
it's also been talked about like hiring, and so knowing when somebody new comes on and stuff like that. So this is my first attempt at trying to fill some of those holes, and we'll just kind of run through here. This first report is budget versus actual, which this is normal. This is what I have been doing the last few months anyway. And
Which is good information, by the way. Thank
Good.
you. Yeah.
and really there's nothing to report on this. Everything's within that 41 2/3% where we're supposed to be by the end of May. So expenses are under, or we had that top heavy things like insurance, conservation trust. So those are expected, and revenue is at that or over for the most part, which is right where we want to be.
Mhm.
So
Everybody's behaving themselves, huh?
as far as I know, we'll get more into that into the quarterly reports. But as far as the big picture goes, the funds are behaving themselves. Next, I think, and I just guess a quick question on this, I think it would be good for any budget amendments or resolutions probably to come up in a format like this. I don't know if that's something that I guess we would probably need it on the agenda for a budget amendment or a budget resolution. I don't have any right now.
No.
But as far as
All right.
voting on those, is that something that we probably would want that ahead of time?
Instead of waiting until November or December.
No, instead of waiting for the meeting.
Instead of just
Oh.
reporting
Oh,
on
I
here.
got you.
Yeah,
Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
to go ahead and send those in and add that as a item of
Specific
business.
agenda.
Agreed.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
But I can at least report on it here and say,
Right.
we've got X coming.
Yeah, my question on that budget amendment, do you track those as they occur? I mean, I know we've had several conversations about, yeah, well, we'll just have to do a budget amendment about that.
Right.
And then that's it. From my perspective, anyway, you're probably down a lot deeper on that.
But I'd like to say yes. But,
Go ahead, because I can't argue with you.
yeah.
Yeah, Kelly and I talked the other day, you know, she may need a budget amendment depending on the outcome of whatever. And
Right.
I just didn't know if we have a way to document the need for that as they occur.
Yeah, and I think I need to work on what that process needs to look like to where maybe we just keep a list throughout the year and then if needed. At the end, if that's how we want to do it, or if it's like, well, yeah, we absolutely have to do this no matter what, so we might as well do it now. And just keeping that list and I'll definitely be looking to you guys. I don't know, because I'm not here all the time in these meetings, so you know, how do I know about that? Jennifer's done a really good job of sending me finance things as they happen. And so, but that one's not one we've specifically talked about, so I don't think that one's has come through from meetings necessarily. So I think maybe just as far as moving forward, that's what we go ahead and do. I'll create a spreadsheet where we can start keeping track of that. And I don't know if that is best Kevin, since he's my point of contact to let me know that this was talked about as far as budget resolution maybe needing to happen or something.
Yeah, I think so, or the chair or whoever.
Yeah. But I'm open to any ideas on the process there, but that I think would be how I think that would handle it. Keeping that list.
Yeah, I agree.
Don't have to make a decision now. It's okay. But okay, that sounds good. Well, I'll work on a spreadsheet for that, and then if you guys have any ideas on the process of getting me that information, that's what I will need from you.
Before we move on real quick, I guess going back to your first bullet, and you know, you commented on the insurance because that's the front end heavy that has to be paid at the first year.
Right.
Virginia made the comment, this is the first time that's actually been upside down on her reports. I should have asked her when she was in here why that was the case, because that's the way it always happens.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you have an answer for that or not.
Yeah, I can speak to that. Funny enough, we were talking this morning and she's like, there's something we talked about that we needed to talk to Sam about, and we couldn't remember it. And then she reported that and I'm like, that's what it was. and she texted me afterwards too. So it's because insurance went up so much this year that's been an issue. And so that's what turned that fund upside down. We budgeted enough for it. We did not take into it. I did not take into account cash flow. And so while that fund has been dwindling a little bit, this year is when it's hit that the cash flow has not caught up with the expense itself. So need to ask Sam if that's something that we can transfer money from the general, like loan from the general fund to make that right, or if that's going to need to be a one-time buffer that's sent over, or is it okay the way it is? Because as she said, that I don't think we're supposed to have zero, zero or negative. Yes, zero is fine, but a negative fund balance.
Okay, thank you.
So I'll be sure to check in with him on that. Anything else on the finances specifically?
Looking at your second document, the revenue and expense report that's in our board pack.
Mm-hmm.
I see you have advertising listed as a non-departmental revenue stream. You can look at it if you want. I was thinking we'd talked about getting an expense line in there. You remember that conversation? About paying for advertising? Yeah.
Not off the top of my head, specific to,
It seemed like we were discussing about how we're gonna pay for something. I don't remember what it was. Legal, not a legal notice, but it was something.
The conversation was about putting in every line, everyone's budget
An
and
advertising.
advertising.
Yeah.
Code. So then that way, if there's something that they would publish.
I just saw this as a revenue line and I thought,
yeah,
Need to
and,
be asking for it.
and that would be a good question. I'd have to ask Virginia on that, see what that revenue was that came in. Most or several of the departments do already have an advertising line or public notices, which, yes, that needs cleaned up a little bit more. But that's where it shows up, is in the specific departments for that.
Yeah. All I had for that, thank you.
Was there one in particular that needed it, that brought up that conversation?
No, it just was a general discussion. We were talking about advertising for other things and evolving.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I think I actually brought it up because I wasn't sure how we were gonna pay for the bid net posting for the sidewalk project. That was before I found out that there wasn't a cost to that. So, although I did publish it in a local paper and I reached out to the public chieftain. So that's where that conversation started, was how would we go about paying for those? They're not really legal notices. They're more of they call them an advertisement for an RFP. So we'll see how that goes.
Okay. All right, so moving on to insurance then. This first one, workman's comp, we have 8 open claims currently. And the way that kind of breaks down is into 4 happened from a training injury. And that happened to be one training at the sheriff's department earlier this year. 3 came from moving an item, and that was various departments. So slipping while moving, or it slipped, or too heavy, or that sort of a thing.
Are we ever going to have a conversation with the sheriff about that training incident that cost us God knows how much money? It's kind of been swept under the carpet. It was brought up over there at the CTSI workshop that we had. So I think we ought to.
Yeah, I missed that.
Ought to address it and say, hey, what the heck was going on, and how's come 4 people get hurt in one training exercise? What could we do different to avoid this?
Yeah. I guess Bill won't be there, but as we say, we're going to be with the sheriff.
Well, I'll have lunch with him after that.
But that probably ought to be in a commissioner meeting.
Probably should be.
And that the total incurred by our insurance company was $56,000 for that.
Can we put that on an agenda and invite him to come over? Have that as an agenda item.
Let's do it when he'll be an agenda item anytime. Then.
End of the month.
Works for me.
Consensus, all right. Good.
Please.
So discussion with sheriff about training accidents, I guess. 56 grand.
I think the answer
Is
will
it
be
closed or is
you're
it still open?
deputies with
Those
brooms
are still open.
So it could be more.
Yeah, that's what's been incurred to date.
And because of that, I probably shouldn't ask this question, but I'm going to, and I think I approached you once briefly because of our CTSI meeting over there, down there. And my question is, because they stated that the statutory volunteers are covered under our county policy. Wetmore Volunteer Fire Department carries their own workman's comp. I'm wondering if they should be doing that or if they should be carried under our policy, because they are under the guise of fire marshal, and Custer County. I didn't know the answer to that.
I don't know either. It seems to me, if they get it another way, I don't know how they're paying for it. Are they getting compensated somehow?
No,
They're
everything we run off of is donation down there, so.
So just like us, we can option not to have county insurance if we have another insurance. So it's a choice. If they need the money for other things and there's a way that we can cover the insurance, then that would probably be a good thing to do for them.
So,
Probably not required.
and I don't necessarily want to put the county on the hook for more people. But that was a question that brought up when we were down there at that meeting, and
Yeah.
I think
How many is there?
I would have to, I'm gonna say we're 12 to 15 on an active roster. So I guess that's my question. I don't know if at the present time, they do have the coverage because we bought the coverage, but moving forward, whether or not that's a county thing
Workman's comp or something.
It's regular workman's comp. So anyhow, because I don't know what that answer is. What mountain their taxing district, and so they have their funds coming in, so I imagine they carry their own. But we fall under the sheriff.
Okay. The sheriff here.
Yes, because the sheriff is the fire marshal for the county.
Would it be under his workman's comp and through the county?
That's an answer I don't have, whether it be county general.
We tend to have a head count for all county employees or volunteers. So I think it would be something that we just, if it's allowed, then it would just be counted under there. So I'll check in on that.
Doesn't really affect the rates unless we have a claim. Or does it?
The way I'm not totally sure. I don't have a good enough grasp on how it all
Only
works.
claims affect rates.
Sometimes
how many possibly.
how many numbers you got?
Never
before
had,
it.
yeah.
Okay. So we couldn't check on that. I appreciate it.
Any other questions on workman's comp? The only other one that I didn't mention there was a vehicle accident. That was one of the other.
Yeah, that'd be a good. Another heading to put on there,
Which,
vehicle accidents or vehicle damage. or
well, and
whatever.
that's actually part of the cap side.
Okay.
So this is actually workman's comp because of the vehicle accident. So that's what that issue was there. So this next one, and this one I
Claims forward.
so if I could actually share with you here. This is the any property claims that we've had in the last month. Well, this is really just what's open. And so these are the 4 that are open currently. Those 2 at the bottom, you'll notice they just have $1 reserved. I guess that's probably just to put them in the system. The way CTSI works is they don't get involved unless there's a monetary stake in it. So that's kind of the interesting thing with them is, and until somebody, I guess, sues the county for money,
We just
then they just want to know about it, but they don't actively do anything with any other attorneys or anything. So that's what you about the Lumen Technology CenturyLink one. That was a letter that we received from their third-party attorney saying that we cut one of their fiber optic cables or one of their lines of some sort. And we had the documentation to say nobody was there on that day. So,
So
kudos
that's been
to
a
Road
long
and
time.
Bridge.
Nobody acting on it, or has it been sitting there since November?
We received the letter in November, and I guess it's open because we haven't heard anything back, or they haven't heard anything back, yeah. But kudos to Road and Bridge for keeping documentation there, because that could have been several $1,000s. Otherwise.
They are also very good because after 3 days, they're actually allowed to go out and work their road if nobody shows up to do a locate.
That's right.
Vince is very good about going after him 2 or 3 times. I mean, he'll put stuff off a couple of weeks trying to get locates done, and they'll only locate up to a mile of road. You can do 3 miles of road maintenance in a day with one blade or something, and we can't keep them out, but we can't get them here to do what they're supposed to do either. So, but they're very good about making sure they've got their locates.
Okay.
Good information.
Right.
This last one is handout anyways, is just the ones that have closed. So this is one of the Road and Bridge trucks that had a wind caught the door and sprung the sprung or something like that. I think
Pick up on
yeah. Sprung the spring. That's
That was in that last big wind.
So
When they were sitting there watching a trailer turn over in front of them.
amazing how expensive
Opening the door and the door.
Ripped it right out of their hands.
So I will plan to do that. That's kind of the catch up. At this point, I'll just report on new things or things that have closed. And we'll kind of go about it that way. Any other questions on insurance?
We had any idea, so I appreciate the information.
Yeah. And then lastly here, I've got human resources. So I thought it would be good just to have a count. Currently we paid 93 people in May, and that was 73 full-time folks and 20 part-time.
Any vacancies? 73.
We don't have that information.
Don't know.
No, we don't know. That's not stored anywhere. We don't have a list of this is what we are fully staffed. So that's something else that I'm working on. And again, combining that with job descriptions and some sort of pay schedule, I think will really move us forward in the county. So numbers that were hired this month. So that's not included in that 93. So we would be, all things being equal, 98 next month. We had Clyde Butler hired for the airport, Kristen Hips for public health, Elizabeth Robinson for the sheriff's office, Cheyenne Shy for planning and zoning, and Tracy Terry for public health.
Is Cheyenne the only part-timer, or Clyde's half-time,
Clyde is also part-time, yep.
the other 3 or 4?
Actually, both public health are part-time as well.
Okay.
Yep. And then I believe I've not met her, but Elizabeth Robinson is the new sergeant, right? Detective sergeant, I believe.
Any idea how many are on the payroll for public health?
Not off the top of my head. But I can get that number. Nobody was terminated last month, and there's one open investigation. Questions?
I'm good.
None here. Good job.
The only other thing that I was going to say is we've got a monthly staff meeting tonight, and I don't know, I've not kept track.
What's it called? It's not a staff.
Crew meeting. Yeah, monthly crew meeting. Is there? Do you all have the list, or
I do.
as far as
It's on the schedule for this meeting.
for this meeting? Okay. So this is too short a notice. We can bump that
When is it?
next month, 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
Okay.
Catch him before he leaves the country.
Yeah.
Or the
Last
state,
chance, the last chance.
if you're not leaving the country,
Yeah,
you'll be.
I'll be leaving.
You'll be in
It feels like
international
it'll
water
feel
for a
like it,
little
yeah.
while.
if I could get a copy of that, I do.
I'll send it to you.
Thank
right
you.
now.
And then I'll make sure that I'm more diligent about letting people know. Right? Thank
Very
you.
good, sir. Thank you.
Does this work? Is this
Yeah, I like it.
Helpful?
I think that's a great
okay
format. I would appreciate knowing full-time and part-time on the new hires.
on the hires as well?
Yeah.
Okay,
But other than that, I think that's great information.
okay, perfect. Thank you all.
You betcha.
I'm guessing that these are not public information.
Good question. I need to ask the attorney about.
Okay, I'm gonna give them back to you,
Yeah.
just in case anybody that in the years I've been here, I've never had anybody come in and want to see the documents during, but if I have something in there, then come in next.
Yeah. Probably a pretty good point. I give them mine as well. I think it's good information. Yes, there's some.
Yeah, I can
Insurance.
check on-
We take a quick break only because I need to call Christy Burke. And also it wouldn't hurt to take a break.
Okay. Yes, we will take a short recess.
So those for me to, Bill.
Yeah.
Check with you. presentation on June 29th from 10:30 to 11:15.
A little presentation, 45 minutes.
Little 45-minute
What day?
presentation. June 29th, so that would be the last meeting.
We do have a BOCC meeting scheduled from 9 till whenever.
Right,
So they want to do the presentation during our meeting.
right, that was the intent,
And that's a how long?
45 minutes,
45-minute
not to
presentation.
do 45 minutes.
They've done it
What time?
before. That's a
Yeah,
problem. They
BOCC
want to do it right in the
10:30
middle of our
to
meeting.
11:15.
Yeah, it wasn't 45 minutes.
When in the middle, I don't remember it being.
Well,
And that time's gonna fall right in the middle of the meeting.
Right.
Can't do it later. Zoom or,
I can ask about later. I think they were, no, they're gonna be here in person.
so we could do it 11:30 to 12:30 or something at the end of our meeting instead of the beginning. That's right square in the middle of it.
Yeah.
That's a business meeting too.
That's fine.
Get it toward the end and we'll do it about force us to quit.
Okay.
Give us a goal.
That would probably be our druthers. If it had to kind of stay where it was, I suppose we could accommodate that, but it really disrupts it.
Yeah.
I think if
That's
we
fine.
could,
I don't think we want to halt the whole meeting for.
There's a lot of people that are waiting.
Yeah.
so. Yeah, either later or right at 9 o'clock,
Yeah.
but I prefer the end rather than the beginning.
Okay,
It should be done by 11:30 or 12.
11:30, so I'll let them know,
That works for me.
Work for you?
Yeah.
All right.
do you guys,
or last item of business, I guess, so.
and that's what I was wondering, if you want to keep that in as an agenda item, or would you like it to go into a workshop since it's just a presentation?
Okay, we just leave it.
Leave it.
Just put it as the last item and just put presentation, CTSI presentation.
See what we get from Braden for confirmation, but
All right, I will
Good.
do that.
thanks.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you,
I
sir.
won't be back.
Is that a threat?
Last word. Okay, would you gentlemen like to go back to the sheriff or go ahead and do PIO at this time?
Well, let's do the sheriff. And then we'll move on. Huh? Get back on the track somewhat. Which I think we're pretty well.
Give everybody an opportunity to look at it.
I'd heard Curry was leaving, but I didn't know why, didn't know when, so. Jeez,
I heard he was gonna be a state
state patrol, yeah.
Yeah, that's what he said the other day. And he's doing it again.
Of course, the assessment. Prior administration got blamed for everything that was wrong. I noticed that when I read that. Which somewhat makes sense, right? You don't want to screw everything up the first 5-6 months you've been in office, so.
Right.
And you guys did get that email about the court security grant, got an additional 28,000.
Mhm.
So that's nice, 68 grand.
So this jail visit in Fremont County will fulfill our,
Mhm.
we don't have to do this while we're here.
Yeah, right.
Good.
Ain't good.
Okay. That will take us then to our PIO report.
I'm sure this would be short and sweet.
Well, I was planning on trying
Oh,
to,
you got-
oh, I get a handshake? Hey,
It's in the
You're
board.
one of the
so-
crew.
yes. It's in the board packet, but. All right.
I wanted to at least update you on what I've been doing as a PIO. You're going to see at the top of the report all of the courses that I've taken since March, which is 69 hours worth. We just came back from the what was it, that 105 Public Information Basics, which was the 24-hour course held in Cortez. There were some great information that we learned there. I was talking to Kevin and told him that it was not, the people who were there were not just emergency people. We had the spokesperson for Colorado Springs. There were 2 county PIOs that work out of the BOCC office, their BOCC offices. There's state patrol. So very few were emergency management. Most of this was just because it was great information to start teaching people how to understand and work with the media and tools for to perform effectively as a PIO and be proactive and advocacy times. The big thing that I took away was that I needed to come up with what a communication plan would look like for the public information officer. And that would entail, what is it that you all would like to be able to see as information that goes out? So some of the things that I've been thinking about that I would like to be able to, that I'm wanting to do as a PIO, is to start having, you know, the questions that are common. So, you know, have like a corner in the newspaper that's a did you know section that would be getting people to know what our county government does and who's responsible for what. So, you know, I had a couple of phone calls just here the other day that said, I want to talk about a contractor down in San Isabel regarding a septic. And I also need to talk about a lien that somebody says they're putting on my property. Well, if we have good public information, then that might be a great way for us to start promoting what it is that we do. The clerk handles any legal recordings that get attached to property. Planning and zoning handles the septic and permits, but it's just as an information strategy. So how do we want it to look? I haven't got there yet because we've been on roller skates in the last couple of weeks, so I haven't got there, but that's something that I plan to work on continuing on as a PIO. There are some upcoming laws that are coming that they've been talking about for a couple of years about ADA requirements and public information. You'll see that there's an accessibility thing that I've copied on there that says state of Colorado. This is what they are committed to doing. The big thing that I took away as a PIO in managing the Facebook, the social media, is alt text and making sure that things are ADA compliant on social media. Since I am not responsible for the website, I know Vernon and Jordan they know what's going on with this as well, and it is coming down the pipe. So things are going to have to change with the way that our presence is out on the internet. In addition to all of this training, I wanted you to know when I received the PIO outline, job description into January, in there it says that a requirement for the PIO within the first year is to take a E0388 course. This is a master's PIO course. in emergency management. It is a 5-day course, and typically it is held on the East Coast. Come October, they're going to be offering it in Denver. So that's a good opportunity. The state is picking up the costs, would more than likely pick up the cost for travel and housing, or at least the housing part. But that's a great opportunity. The challenge is that even though that's on the job description, the list of the classes that I've already taken, except for IS 247, all of those are required in order to take that course. It is recommended that these 3 additional courses be taken. And because of where it's located, I just want to make sure that you're aware that that is not a realistic goal for a 1-year training in a PIO position because of where it's located, where you usually have to go get it, and the classes that you have to take in order to qualify to go to those. Yep. So good news is I'm already there, but wanted you to know what's going on. The other thing that I took away from this training is that we need to be a trusted source, and we need to be able to build being a trusted source for information. So what that means is that we need to, one, we need to be posting regularly, making sure people know that we know what's going on. And that's across all of the boards. The second thing is don't paraphrase, don't copy and paste, actually share links. So if the CDC, Dr. Brown, he sends me something about CDC changing rules for immunizations. And sometimes he'll just write out a report. Rather than doing that, finding a link that the CDC has with their information, then sharing that. So then when that information changes, we have accurate information. That's how people are going to trust us. The other thing is that the more people who are following our social media pages and outreaches, that's going to be a better information source. So then when we need to get information out to everyone, they're already connected and they already know and trust us. So been really working on making sure to get those things done on a regular basis, and I've taken some of these classes, but that is, the thing that I'm taking away is that we've got to keep on making sure that that information is going. The last thing is that I've been working on databases for the PIO. I think that this is an important part of PIO, because not only do we need to be able to put things out on different social medias, we also need to be able to, if there were something that came about, be able to reach the people direct. And then who do we need to make sure and let know? And it's more, it's almost like that phone tree that we used to have, at the beginning when I was in Girl Scouts, or, where you call this mom, that one calls these two, those two call. And so that's what I'm trying to create, is who do we need to get information out to? Whether it's an emergency, that's why I collected the names and phone numbers from the tax districts, making sure that we as a county have the ability to communicate easily with the people we need to be communicating with. So, do you have any questions? Oh, and then creating groups of distribution. So I have a press group that I'm doing, and it's funny because we're starting to get more people asking if they can get in on those press groups. So like Valley Strong has requested that anytime I have a press release, and then they're going to put it out on their sites, which is a really good thing because now I have
Greater reach.
yeah. So not only is it the newspapers, I have the radio, I have Valley Strong, trying to think. Anyway, but I have about 10 different groups that I'm sending both of the towns information whenever we have it out. So just wanted you to know that. Any questions for me on what I've been working on?
Just a quick one is on these courses, a critical thing, and I've been through a lot of this is director or commander and all that. People come up to you and stick a microphone under your mouth, and you got to be careful how you respond. And then in order to do that, you practice. And they would stage it. They would get a camera up there and then have you come up and pretend they're a reporter.
They actually did that.
I'm asking, did they do it with you?
Mhm.
Okay, good. Okay, you need to be, and you have to, in order to answer correctly, you got to have the data behind you. And you got to know what you can and can't say, or what might put your foot in my mouth.
Well, and also depending upon the situation, knowing who should be speaking and then
That's right.
making
You can make sure but you can't play the president's press secretary and say, everything's fine. I don't have anything to say. Get out of my way.
correct. And so that was also part of this course was to come up with talking points. How, because sometimes things are evolving so quickly that the gossip mill is actually worse than what is really going on. So if we have talking points, then if it is impacting the three of you, then I'm giving you those talking points. Hey,
Right.
this is how we're going to stay on message.
The reverse can be true too. People call us out of the clear blue and over something you don't even remember about. And I would just direct them to the public information office.
And so
and then get back, make an appointment or something.
But yes, and it made me feel good because one of the emergency managers who was hosting as I was doing my presentation, and because I was the PIO and I had to coordinate a press conference and give everybody their talking points and what they needed to say. And then when people became, off topic, then what do I need to do to be able to get them back on? Because it never fails. We're talking about taxes and somebody comes in and says, my dog died yesterday. Well, I'm sorry to hear your dog died. Let's see, we're here to discuss taxes. And then, so they taught us good bridging ways. And I'm excited. I think that it's it was a great course.
I had is, do you have any other courses that are going to get in before you leave as this chair here? I know it's PIOs you're going to be continuing, but is there something else coming up?
No, at this point, I am doing the thing on the 15th, which is the EOC, I believe is what, and that is Robin. But that is something that I think a PIO needs to know. And then I think there was one other, but I'll make sure and email you. It's been a little bit hair on fire in the last 2 weeks. Okay. Any other questions?
Not for me.
I'm been covered the gamut, I think. So.
Good job.
Okay, well, thank you.
Thank you. Okay. We had agreed to when it came time for planning and zoning to go ahead and have her come in, correct?
I can give her a call.
Yeah, if you don't mind, then when she shows up, I'll jump to her. We'll start off with these are the reports that were sent in to us, and I'll be starting off here with the road and bridge. You guys have that in your packet. He's given us the road that they've maintained And where they've taken gravel to, I guess I would add, I know on 387, when they were working on that, they did haul gravel up to that as well.
I think it'll be just seeing
And
around.
they've got some of their mag chloride done. Rain has kind of kicked them out of the right cycle on that. So they've still got to finish that work.
Thank you.
And looks like they've got some culvert work and just general maintenance on the roads moving forward is what they've got planned. Then it's a fuel report. On the usage by the different entities, as well as their budget report.
And the school wasn't gonna start getting fuel until this fall, correct?
I believe that is correct.
Seems like that what we decided at that meeting.
And they're not on that list, so. And of course, Road and Bridge is the biggest user, followed by the sheriff's office. Road and Bridge had 8,000 gallons. In a little over a month. Thirsty equipment.
Mhm.
Any other questions on Road and Bridge?
No, sir.
All right. We can click on over then to the Human Services. This is the same report she's been bringing to us. If you've had an opportunity to look at that to see if you had any specific questions I could try to answer. Or if you just want to glance down through there. Let's see which changes in any of that.
I'm assuming because.
We'll meet to the 80 went way up in May.
Yeah, that's what I needed to know. Thank you. All right, bye.
Anything from you, sir?
No.
Okay. Yeah, so we did. It must be later in the packet. There it is. Eric did send us a short report. He's been out for the last couple of weeks. He's been on vacation and he's now at a VSO conference in Wisconsin, although he is still fielding phone calls. And so wanted to reassure us that when he is getting calls, he is taking those calls. And he also did ask for a response as to has the job been posted and when will it close?
I'm sending Braden an email right now asking when it closes.
Yeah, it closes pretty soon, I think.
Okay. So if he would like to respond back to Eric, that's fine. Or if he wants me to, if he could just send that information back to me, I can respond back to Eric. Yeah. So if he wants to send me that information. I was going to talk to him at CCI. He was scheduled to be one of the speakers, but I think that was when he was on vacation. So
Yeah, he was, wasn't he?
yeah. Any questions on any of that then? And because it's him with the state, I don't believe we have to sign that report.
I just wanted you all to know, I overheard someone rave about how that guy, he's there on Mondays. I didn't even know how that I could qualify, was raving about him. I just wanted you to know that, when I'm hearing that, y'all should know.
It's good to know because, he's only there one day a week helping fill in. And so it's good to, even he needs to hear that because everybody needs that pat on the back once in a while.
Yeah,
Really good stuff.
I had told him that he really helped with Jerry Elliott's when he passed away, helped work the benefits with Linda.
Anything else on VSO then?
Nope, good.
And Dorothy's out of the office today and tomorrow.
Oh, okay. Do we want to address that at this point then?
Yeah, we can look at them.
We'll go back to her. Yeah, we can look at her report.
Before you do that,
I guess,
is she reachable by phone?
I
And you know where she
I
is?
called the office, but they said that she was out. I didn't call her on her cell.
okay.
Okay, that's all
The
right.
only reason I was gonna have her come in was for the Granicus.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna, I want to catch her for the others.
Okay. So we can go through her report here. And I think it kind of falls
This is something
into
we saw already.
a lot of the trends are continuing like they have been.
Yeah. This is from the other report.
And so would you gentlemen like to have that Granicus as a agenda item at a later date, or go ahead and address it at
It's
this?
a non-match grant. I'd say let's just go ahead and let her do it. It's $5,000 and we can apply it towards that
There's no reason in the world not.
short-term rental. We get it, we get it. If we don't, we don't.
Mhm.
True, yeah, because there's the grant, if she doesn't get the grant, then she
No
doesn't get the
skin.
Granicus.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Okay, and we can do that by consensus, and I will just communicate that with her then.
And what is Granicus?
Granicus is it's a tracking software for the short-term rentals.
Oh, that you guys
Yeah.
talked about
Yeah.
before.
Yeah,
Read it made sense, and if it's not gonna cost us anything, what the heck?
It's a company back east, and one of their services they've offered is that. software. Well, I can't find her report.
it should be
Under
GC.
G.
Oh, yeah.
So there should be several Gs, I believe.
Yes, this is.
Clear the
GC.
GG. That's Will's mother-in-law's name.
There was
G.
a movie. I believe, late 50s, early 60s. Again, a moment to scan down through there, sir.
Yeah, good.
Okay. And we have nothing from the custodial animal housing. We do have the minutes. May 16th.
Yeah. And the new agenda just came out.
Okay.
I'm not gonna be at that meeting. I've got to come back and slide to that day.
And they did send an email. I believe we all got one from Barry Keene in regards to what we would like to see from them so that they're not operating outside the bounds that we are looking for.
You're good with Charles on representing Bogle. When he sent you that email,
Oh, you're back at the VSO?
no, on the animal housing, or the Upper Arkansas Council of Governments deal that you were absent for, and he didn't care that mattered. Catch up on what they did. And I think it was, I think of Upper Ark Council of Governments deal, maybe. I'm mixing.
The one I'm thinking about, he was setting up a meeting with Patrick and
Yeah.
Mount Carmel.
That was the other.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was-
it's not ringing a bell.
Yeah, I think you're right. It was Mount Carmel.
Actually, the best of my knowledge, that meeting did take place. I do not know who's in attendance. We were all.
You were John. That's right. It was a CCI meeting there.
Mhm. And I have not touched base since I've been back with on that. So.
We'll be grilling.
But just a quick note, the attainable housing is looking at a building down off the highway, possibly to see if it is rehabable. And also whether or not the tap could be upgraded and enlarged. It already has a tap.
Oh.
They are scheduled to meet with Round Mountain on that to see if that is a permissible thing, since there's already an existing tap. And also have a couple contractors, or at least one contractor, looking to see the viability of rehabbing that building for, I believe it was like 7 to 8.
Where is it? Silver Glen?
Yes.
You'll call it building.
Oh, the old co-op. It has just one tap. I bet there's two.
What's that?
And there's just one. There's not two
One
taps.
sewer tap.
So, but anyhow, they're exploring that possibility to see if that might be a way to move forward in the short term because of the moratorium on the taps. And I know there was one of the main questions was it rehabable for that purpose, and second item would be on whether or not they could move forward and just get an upgrade on the tap.
Depends on how much they want to spend on building it.
Not they.
It'll end
Yeah,
up
that's what I
coming-
mean.
Yeah.
Depends on how much they're gonna want.
Yeah. So when it comes down to the nitty gritty, then that's our decision.
That
But
would be a pretty expensive.
so I
rehaul.
think everybody here's been included in that email string, but I just wanted to make sure everybody was aware of that. Of course, the self-help housing is on hold until the moratorium goes away. They are working on their mission statement and things of that nature as well. Do not have an actual chairman in place at this time yet.
How come? You know, why are they dragging their feet?
Nobody wanted to do it.
I know nobody wanted to, but now they got a full board now, don't they?
Yeah, I think things are progressing to where that's going to have to take place pretty quick. They're still working on their bylaws and their mission statement, and then I think when they get that all in place, then they will go ahead and do the organization. Would probably be my take on that. And I believe there is someone that is willing to step forward for that position now. Anything else on attainable housing? Tourism. We do have their report here. Basically, we have their meeting dates. A quick note, I guess, the then and now flyers. I don't know if you call them a flyer, that's a booklet.
Pamphlet.
And I just did a report for you last.
Yeah. So an in-person report the other day before we took off. So we have their meeting dates here. And the rep on that.
I guess something to report is she put together that package we took up to CCI, and we turned one gift basket into 4
at our table.
And 2 of us came back.
2 here, yes.
Got 2 for 1.
Brought 2 home.
So yeah, very good basket that was put together there. And then
I inherited a Park County Airport teacher with a Pitkin.
So, but that then and now booklet that they did do, everyone I have talked to has had nothing but glowing reports about that. Seemed like it was very well put together and looked very good. So I would probably like to comment on that. Anything else on that? Okay. Moving on then would be for the Wetmore Community Center and Library. You do not have a report in your packet on that. I did talk to Nan Davenport the other day. As a matter of fact, when I dropped their flyers off for them, things are moving along pretty good there. They did have a joint meeting with the community board and library this last week. They are wanting to move forward. They're going to, I believe it's in October. They have not set a date yet. They're going to do a fundraising dinner. They are looking to get a hosting board to actually put in place in front of the post office. They have the bulletin board inside the community building, but a lot of these happenings down there, a lot of the people that go to the post office don't necessarily go to the community building. And so they're spearheading the effort to move forward and do a fundraiser for this information board. And they've already gotten permission from the landowner there to put that in. It'd be under the overhang on the side that does no longer have steps going down off of it. And when I have a date for that, I will relay that so that everybody up here has an opportunity to attend. One thing for our new contractor might be to go down and see if he can figure out where the stench comes from when the AC units are running. That is still an ongoing problem. They have not been able to locate it. It smells like a dead animal. It's been going on since the remodel. They have an awful lot of the little plug-in air fresheners, and it's those can be bad in and of themselves. I've been down there a couple times trying to locate it. I haven't, but maybe a fresh nose.
Body buried in the wall.
I told them we could tear the walls and the ceiling out. Maybe we'll find something, but I was reprimanded for saying that. So
yeah.
You would think if it was something in the vent work or something that it would have dried up and
could be
gone away
related
with
to
it.
that plumbing they did on that bathroom.
Mainly in the room they call the Carolyn Schellenberger room. So it'd be off the main library. Yeah, that's
It's on the side of the same side where that bathroom was that had the waterless urinal in it.
Quite a ways away from that.
Yeah, but the plumbing's connected, and if it's a tube that they had to ventilate it, it has a Stoddard valve in it where it's interior to the wall. Maybe that's a problem.
It does not appear. It doesn't seem to be that. It seems to be more like a dead smell.
Like a dead mouse smells when you're in the wall.
And it seems to be, I would say, at least 90% of the time in relation to when the AC is running. So I don't know if possibly one of the units outside or the filter system. You can go down to the exchange units in the basement. They're in that room. You can't smell anything, but it's the worst of it is in that one room. So I don't know if that would fall into that or not, but that might be
sure does. Take a look at.
He'd have a new nose, so maybe he could figure out where that's coming from, because it gets somewhat frustrating for them because they haven't been able to figure it out either. And other than that, I don't know of much to report on that facility down there, unless you have any questions.
Good.
All right, that would move us on to Commissioner Kanda and your reports. Guess you got off the first one now.
Yeah, airport's done, the emergency service is done. I want to talk about the landfill a little bit. And in particular, two things. And it's important for the public to hear. The good news is they got that loader, as we all know, the new John Deere 724 is good, and it's going to be around for a while. And he's out there. He loves it. His office is in that loader now. Brian loves it. But what's important is this area fill on our new dump, or our new landfill. And I want to read this paragraph. It's that CDPHE, the Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment, is still reviewing the area fill engineering design and ops plan. Has to be approved. The process may take many more months for approval, depending on how many revisions the engineers are going to make. If the area fill is not approved by the end of July, I think a meeting is going to be needed to discuss the budget, resolution on it. Because Trench H has an expected 6 month of capacity once Trench G is full, which is going to be soon. Then budget resolution may be needed so the landfill can lease a new scraper for a second month to begin digging Trench I. And I think that scraper was running, what was it, $26,000 a month, something to that effect. There might be more now. The landfill will not have enough airspace capacity to last until next spring if the area fill isn't approved or Trench I isn't dug. So it's getting a goosey spot. We'll stay on top of it.
When is H? That's 6 months. When is G expected to be full?
He said maybe less than.
Yeah, I talked to him yesterday. He said thought we'd get another month out of it.
A month or so. That's what he told me.
It's gonna be July, so then that would give us only 6 months.
So we'll have to
cushion.
See how that plays out. Maybe I don't know who he's been talking to. I'll have to ask him the engineering side, but they've been pretty cooperative. But I guess it's just how communications get in an in basket somewhere or a phone. See if I can help that. Anything else to add? And as far as public health goes, we are having a meeting today. I'm sorry you can't be there, Tom. You're going to be gone.
Yeah, I'll speak to that real quick if I may. I called the underfunded coach guy and had him back at that meeting until 2. So I'm going to be here at 1. But
that'll be good because we can get through that.
I need to leave 11:42.
Okay, good.
Thank you for that.
He has a couple things there, and she said she sent something over for that
She
meeting.
did up in the packet, and if not, I'm gonna double check that we couldn't see it,
Yeah, okay.
but she did.
Make sure that it's there. And the fair board is going and blowing. Getting close to the rodeo already. Hard to believe, isn't it? And they are. They got their judges lined up. They got buildings fixed. The water's working. There's nothing that I need to bring up that they don't need any commissioner help right now. Working fine. Good crew. It's a good board. Anything else? Okay.
I think that'll do it. You look bad. You were short and sweet. I drug mine out a little bit.
Yeah, thank you.
Of course, half of yours got done earlier.
Yeah, I had help on mine.
Yeah, you guys have a report for IT. Nothing earth shattering there.
What's the firearms training device? What is that? An interactive?
I have no idea.
I'll have to visit with him and see.
Maybe it's a laser thing that's just scoring instead of shooting. No,
No clue there. And extension reports there.
And I think back on the IT, you know, I had him put together that report for me, so as well that he didn't have in there. Okay.
Any questions about that? I went up to talk to her yesterday. I guess I didn't know she was on, so. Nothing on buildings and grounds other than the carpet. We already talked about that. The recycle meets tomorrow.
Quick question.
Yeah, go ahead.
On that for me. That stop valve in the ladies' restroom in the main hall. Did I say?
You mentioned it, yeah.
Okay.
water valve.
Yeah, the stop for the toilet in the women's restroom.
Oh, the flapper valve.
No, the main valve, water supply line.
Oh, the going to the tank.
Yeah. Was leaking and causing that to be pretty bad looking.
Oh.
Behind there. Dave and I looked at it that day because I was here and actually tightened the nut on the stem, but it's still leaking out of the stem. So that probably requires the water turned off in the building. So that might be another thing to throw on that list.
Yeah, I think he told me he was trying to get a half by half water on it, so he's working on
Is he? Okay. And I didn't know if that would be for him since the whole
Yeah.
building water wouldn't need to be turned off or not. So guess that's not my call. That'd be.
I'll follow up with him and see what the status is.
Okay.
Anything on extension?
No.
Sorry, recycle. Their next board meeting is. Yeah, I just got an email about it. Must have not written it down. Tomorrow afternoon.
Yes, at 1.
June 8th at 1
No
p.m.
wonder I'm on the wrong stinking week. Yeah, 1 o'clock in the basement. Got a crew coming to put the roof on that cardboard barn on Friday, so things are going good there. Kids Council, been attending those meetings. They're having a dinner, an appreciation dinner on the 12th of June. I think we had a report from them, did we?
No, I didn't. I literally just put every department or board that you all are the head of. So then that way, if there was something you wanted to talk or report to them,
And they
we
should
can
be
modify
reporting.
that. This is our first go
I
with
think
this.
we saw they're not having a meeting there in lieu of the dinner.
Right.
And she brought copies of that flyer in
flyer
today,
in.
earlier today, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
Weed board, they're having their annual weed tour. It's on the calendar for the 14th. I haven't heard a word from them. I don't know what they're doing there. I've been emailing the chairman asking him, I haven't gotten a reply, so I don't know what the deal is there. And nothing from UPS.
Okay. And unfinished business. We have one item of new business. That would be the consideration of policies for county boards. I think due to some conversations between myself and Jennifer, she's put together some stuff for us to look at here, just I believe suggestions as far as bylaws and things of that nature. I might let you explain it a little bit better, ma'am, so that I don't butcher it.
Not a problem. I just realized that this one can get in front. So, while that prints, at the beginning of the year, you all started talking.
This is stuff we already have on.
Yeah, I just.
Too much paper for me, I got.
Not a problem. I just know that sometimes it's easier to see big documents like this. You all, this is the first thing I want you to look at is this spreadsheet that I have. And it has examples of the different boards. And then I've taken a look at all of their bylaws. So then we would know how many are on it and then where we have some potential issues. Meaning, and when I say potential issues is that they're just not consistent and we don't have information. So for example, Silver West Airport, the minimum number, it is not outlined in their bylaws, the minimum number for their board. And they do not anywhere in their bylaws talk about sunshine laws. Where do they need to post? When do they need to post? How do they do that? Also, they do not outline when they bring the board appointments to you in their bylaws. So what I was thinking, because of the way this office is and elections, there's a reason that you all have been appointing your boards in January. And that is so then if it is an election year, then the newly elected commissioner would have the opportunity to be a part of that appointment. The challenge is that all of our board appointments expire December 29th or December 31st or the end of the year, which then leaves, a month and close to a month before any new board appointments are happening. And some of these boards are only 1 year. So what I am just throwing out, spitballing ideas, is to make let all of the boards know that you all are going to do your appointments in January and that the terms will start February 1st. And then if they're still 3-year terms, they're going to expire the last day of January, but that would give you a chance to be able to appoint someone before they expire. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah.
So, let me do this so I can look at my notes. So, the things that I've done in the bylaws, and this is just a template idea for the bylaws, and that is coming up with a standardized a general idea of what should be included in bylaws. And Tom did such a great job on the CCR bylaws that I used that along with lots of other information from colleges and different organizations to put this together. This is just a guide. It is up to the boards to decide how they want to write it. But my suggestion would be to ask the boards to make specific changes to make sure that they include where their authority comes from. And that is from you, the board. Also, if it is a statute-driven board, like the weed board is a statute-driven board, then they need to make sure that their bylaws cite the statute that it is coming from. Then the next thing is to clean up how all of these appointments work, is for them to make sure it's clear how their appointments will work. And my thought is in the public notice will be given by the BOCC for all boards. So it would run just like we did last year, where you run an ad for all of the openings. If you're interested, check it out. Okay. Then there would be a online letter of interest. And each board can decide what questions they want. I just did an example of what a form would look like, and that is in Google Forms. And, why are you interested? How do we contact you? What experience do you have? If it is the weed board, they may need to modify the questions to outline what their criteria is. You have to have so many acres, but have this be on the Custer County website where they can come in, fill it out. It will then automatically go to a spreadsheet that each board would get that would look like this. And it would have all of the contact information, and it would have the answers to the question in an easily, where they can easily look at it. The other bonus is that from this, we are able to create groups and contact lists. So then when we need to send an email or something to all of Attainable Housing, we have all of their contact information. This is,
Or it's available.
For each of the boards. So that's that. But my thought is to ask them, I'm asking you if we can run ads like we did, but do it for 3 weeks and make them due by November 30th. And then after that, then the boards will receive those immediately, because they're going to be linked to a folder for them. They will see them, and in their December meeting, whether it's a regular meeting or a special meeting, it's up to them how they want to run their board. But then they vote on who they would like to see recommended to you to be appointed. The next step would be those recommendations need to be to the BOCC the 1st of January into December. So then that way you can then be able to review any of the letters of interest, look at the recommendations from each board, come up with a spreadsheet of who is going to be appointed, just to make it cleaner and easier. The next thing I told you about, the February would be my thought instead of January. So then the elected official would have a chance, and then make it in the bylaws that the clerk needs to record all bylaws. It has been a challenge to find bylaws. And I think that would be the best way, just as a thought. And then include in their annual reporting to the BOCC for each board. And it's just once a year, like the library came in and did. And you could actually come up with a schedule. So in January, we're going to hear from tourism. February, we'll hear from Attainable, but we could come up with an agenda like that. And then on the Custer County website, and yes, I spoke with Vernon about this, and he thinks that this is absolutely doable, but to have a folder, a Google Drive folder that is set up for like the airport board. So if somebody is interested in volunteering for the airport board, they can click on that. In there, you're going to find their mission statement or an explanation of what they do, along with their terms and a contact list for everybody on that board. Then there will also be the form, the Google form, for them to apply. The next step would then be, the next thing in there would be their bylaws. That way, everyone in the county knows what opportunities there are to volunteer for these different organizations that the county runs. Anyway, that, and then the last but not least is to give every board their own Google Drive that we would share with them, that they can put documents in that is not open to the public. So then, you know, it's worked well with, I'm starting to get attainable housing doing it, but you end up having documents. Hey, everybody, we need to look at, you know, we have this contract or whatever that we're talking about. You could dump it in there. Everyone in your board could then have access. And then if it's created here, then we are able to control who has the access. For example, only board appointees, and that could be something that we do on our end. So anyway, that is my suggestion, ideas on how to wrangle the board. So then we have them all being considered the same way. The recommendations are coming in at the same time, that it cleans up so there's no gap. And it also provides great information for the public.
Yeah.
Is there,
You included all boards and committees,
I don't know. I mean,
like we have boards and then we have committees too. They're
well,
the same.
Anyone that has a bylaw that is appointed by you all that is on the list that you do at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, like the planning commission is a commission.
Correct.
And let's see, do we have a?
So it would be planning commission and
yeah, fair board is a board. I guess maybe that's the only one.
And the thing that is different, so if you are okay with this, the first step that I would like to do is my rough draft of what ideas of how to organize bylaws and what should be included. I think the attorney should review and make sure that there's, you know, before we send it out to the different boards. And then once we get an okay, then we send out from this board an explanation, like we know what statute, like let me see, Custer County Tourism Board, that follows statute 30-11.1075. It also is by a resolution here in Custer County, and that is 7-7 and 12 or 7-07 and 12-01. And I think that we need to be referencing that and having that be a part of their bylaws. So then you all have record. Oh, I forgot one other thing. As a recommendation or suggestion idea for the bylaws is to put in a 3-year review. So then each board has to review their bylaws every 3 years. Even if they don't make any changes, so then that way they can come before you and talk about this is working, this isn't.
I think it's great. You've done a great job. That I would be careful. I don't think you need to dictate, you know, the structure of the bylaws, but we need to dictate what's required in the bylaws. I wouldn't hold them to a format or anything.
Absolutely.
I like the idea of getting an attorney to make sure everything is the same. And I like the idea of being able to have at your fingertips how many boards there are, what terms are expiring and when. It's very good. And oh, by the way, it's important for them to understand by Colorado law, all our boards and committees and volunteer organizations like that are held under the same sunshine like we are. And they have to publish meeting dates and they have to put it on bulletin board somewhere. So I like that.
Yeah, I think we've needed to bring the corral around all of these different boards. Everybody's going different directions. I thought we had decided to do the whole membership thing in November and December and appoint boards in January. I don't care if there's a new board member coming on.
I don't either. I was going to bring that.
They'll get caught up.
You know why? It doesn't matter because the next, when he
That's right.
goes, the other guy gets a new,
Yeah.
he gets the same length of time to change the board structure if he sees it necessary.
Doing business, you know.
I would, otherwise we're
Because
dragging.
that way then I think it's the mid-month meeting, isn't it, Kelly, that we formalize all those board appointments, and they're done the first month of June, to come on in February.
Well, so
December, it's
yeah,
December.
This past
Early
year,
Yeah,
January.
because last year we did them in December.
Oh, that's right, so they come on January 1,
Yeah,
that's.
because
yeah.
their terms were up January
Right.
1st.
That's right.
Yeah.
So that makes sense. And it
Yeah.
doesn't matter if it's a new guy or an old guy is only going to be there for 2 more weeks.
Right.
Doesn't matter.
So that would be just moving the timeline,
back 1 month.
yeah, so that
They're all
we don't need
due.
we don't need to change their expiration dates. We just change the dates that their stuff turned into us.
Yeah, and
Um,
if that's okay, then I can,
and we were going to ask some of these boards if they were going to revisit their terms because of a lot of them are all
Right.
1-year terms.
Matter of
and-
fact, we need to require the tourism board to have a term. I mean, there's no terms at all. I mean, they're just the tourism chairman and there's nothing.
well, and that,
They have
you know,
3-year terms on that.
Yeah, but the
tourism.
chairman.
but,
Oh, yeah.
well, and in this outline, because I really liked the look of the CCR, they specifically talk about the terms of the officers, and officers shall consist of, and then it says officers will serve 1-year term and may be reelected for no more than 3 consecutive terms.
Right.
You know, and if you look, different boards do different things, but having something in there, like one of the boards that I reviewed, one of the bylaws said the chairman can be for 1 term, which is 2 years, but cannot serve more than 2 terms. So then that's a max of 4 years. But it would be up to them how they want to do that. And then the only other thing with revisiting the term limits is if by statute, they require you to only go 1 year or 2 years, you know, and so that's why it's important for them to understand that they're governed by a statute.
Mhm. My other question is when you were going through and everything's Google,
Mhm.
is there an option to apply for these boards with a hard copy?
Sure. And that would be something that I believe each board needs to handle.
Mhm.
Yeah, they can
Because,
pull the form out and print it themselves.
right.
Yeah.
You know, they can do that and then they can approve, they can take them
Hand it
in.
to an impaired
You know.
IT member.
Well, and then the other thing is that, you know, when I started putting this together, my thought is if somebody wanted to apply and were computer challenged and they needed to have a paper copy, that the board could provide it and then they could manually enter it in themselves.
Mhm.
So then that way they have the data stored and they don't have to re-enter it later. The other thought is that if somebody needed help, they can come and knock on my door and say, hey, how do I do this? You know,
And your home address is?
is in the kingdom and it's in his
For the
front yard.
capital end.
Uh-huh.
One is just gonna ask the question. You're saying I, meaning you.
I know,
you. And
I'm
so,
at this position.
No, I'm thinking you're the grand godmother of this now.
Oh.
And you've got, and I think it's worth, and we can always correct glitches, and that'll always come up, but those glitches have to be, somebody has to be able to go to somebody to do that. And until we get an admin, and even afterwards, because you established that, I think it's important for you to follow through with this as the PIO.
Well, I wasn't planning on saying, here's my idea. If you all want me to continue this,
You
good
put a lot
luck.
of work into this, and you can't transfer. Okay, here's why this is here, because somebody's going to say, "How come there's no men on this board?" Well, I plan to get them to put that in.
Right. So I was planning on seeing this through until it got up and running, or until I could have somebody trained to take it over. I think that it's important for our community to know all of the great things that we meaning this county, this board are doing, and how they can get involved. And it has been lacking.
Okay, so in order to get out of here before lunch,
I just need.
I will move that we accept her recommendation and implement it with the understanding that you'll take it for to get it instituted, I guess, and then start the debugging process, but to work the proposed template that you set out to establish the processes for the boards to conform to. I don't hate to say the laws, the rules, and the desires of the
uniform standard.
Yeah, I don't know if we need a motion or not. I mean, we can just.
I was considering, the only reason I'm doing that, Tom, is because it says consideration.
Well, and I wasn't sure if it needed to, if I could go with just consent.
I think consent, from my point of view, is fine. And we can.
Yeah, I think there's some things we got to be cautious about. We can't be telling these boards how to operate.
That's right. That's my point.
If they want unlimited officer terms, that's their business. We don't have any business telling them that. Whether we like a chairman or not, doesn't matter.
Well, it does sort of, Tom.
Well,
I don't mean it.
You're going to tell Hood that he's no longer going to be allowed to be the chair?
No, that's not what I mean. That's up to that board. Would be in the board's interest to do it. I mean, it would be in the county's interest to make sure you have good leadership, and you sure don't want a board becoming stale. We've had that happen before.
So,
well, it's happening now.
But see, that's the guy. The guy.
What you were saying, I believe, is we don't want to tell somebody they can only have chair for X amount of years.
No,
not referring to the fact that we can't tell them they've got to have a chair.
Right. And that's my point is well, they need to come up with it, but it has to be something that's viable. Otherwise, our job as commissioners is to make sure that these boards support the county. These are critical things to have. And
well, and my thought with this is a guide and an example that they can use and modify, with the exceptions that you have to state what statute you're working under, who get in the bylaws, that you need to.
There's certain things
that you need to state the sunshine laws and when your meetings are, and outline those that are required by the Open Meetings Act. Other than that, and then whatever your guidelines are for approval of applicants, or not applicants, but of appointees.
Yeah, I think we ought to look at a list of things that we are going to request every board have in their bylaws.
That's right. You need that lined out.
Set of bylaws, one size fits one. So we could say, hey, here's a list that the BOCC recommends. Request that's in your bylaws. Let them put it whatever form.
That's exactly right.
But I think terms, number of members, terms of officers, that's up to the board.
It is
up to us to be meddling in that. So.
Yeah, and that wasn't the intent. The intent was really and truly just to get them to be appointing people at the same time, so you can be approving them at the same time, and then helping them get guidance on what they can and cannot do.
I agree.
Did we appoint at the mid-month meeting in December? Do you remember, Cal?
Yeah, this last year. we did.
Mid-month. So if they have their board recommendations to us by the 6th or 7th of December, and we can vote on them in mid-month, and they can be seated and be ready to go January 1.
Yeah,
I
and that
think
could
that
be
makes
one of the
sense.
things, I guess that would be a requirement, not necessarily a request from us.
Right.
That's a requirement that they
Yeah.
have their
Right.
list
And I think
to
it's
us
fair to
by
say-
this date.
We're requiring you to put a minimum and maximum number of your board members.
Yeah.
We're requiring
Gotta
you to
lay it down. You don't have to tell them.
cite all the statutes that apply to your board. There are certain things we can require, I
Yeah,
agree.
absolutely.
And it would be pretty much whatever was on that
And they're
spreadsheet.
required to post minutes. They're required to do the things that make us legal there.
And how they actually come up with their recommendations for you. You know, some of these boards say, what I read in bylaws is you all are appointing them. That they really don't have any say whatsoever for their bylaws. It's just an appointment from this board. Then there are some that say, if there's a if a position becomes open, they are not recommending, you all just appoint. And so those things I think need to be cleaned up.
Depends on what their bylaws say. They could recommend us to appoint a vacancy, or we can appoint it. We have the authority.
Yeah, they could do that. They could say, we don't want to appoint anybody. You guys go find somebody for us. But but I might protest that and tell them that's really their job. They got to work with them. And they got to know
But
what
those
they
are the
do.
details that are spelled out in the individual sets of
Mhm.
bylaws.
Yeah.
They're all going to operate a little differently.
They can operate any way they want.
So minimum, maximum, appoint.
All we're doing is firming their recommendations.
How they make the
Right.
recommendations for appointment.
Is up to them.
The only thing that needs to be
And then,
consistent is the dates.
and the way I see it is we have a veto power. I mean, if we know something about somebody, they've gone through their own process and they want them on that board, we'd say, well, we're gonna think twice. about
Or
it.
political. Hey,
Some
we're not
other
putting you
reason.
who on the board.
That's right.
That's why this is a political position, right? So yeah, that's why it comes to the BOCC. For that fine, that's why they don't.
They are representing the
Right.
county on purpose to make sure it's the right way.
Yeah, I just don't want to send the message that we're now dictating these boards how they're going to operate. That's not our
It's
job.
just like the other thing, they work for the county, they work for us, through us.
If it is okay with you, once I have the attorney look at it, I send you all an outline of what I would be sending to the boards for them to consider before the end of the year. And then just go
run it through.
and then have y'all comment.
You got it cleaned
tweak.
up where you think it's right. We'll tell you where it's wrong.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think just a list of things. This is what the board would recommend be in your bylaws. This is what they require to be in your bylaws.
Okay.
Perfect.
Look at that, that'd be great.
I'll get that done and sent out. I want to get it to Attainable Housing, hopefully by their meetings, so then they can finish up their bylaws.
All right.
So thank you guys very much. I'm excited. I think this will be beneficial for all of us, all of you.
It help everybody, yeah. Absolutely.
Thank you for all the work on that. Any additional items of business, gentlemen?
I just want to throw out, and you guys have seen it, but I want to publicly acknowledge that Haley Namath sent us a thank you card for her scholarship.
Yeah.
From the Colorado Opportunity Scholarship Initiative dollars that we put in. We put in 1450 and she got 2,900, so doubled our money.
Nice thank you card too, by the way.
Yeah, did a good job.
Okay, anything else?
Not for me.
Public comment. Yes, ma'am.
So, I've kind of been put in a little bit of a bind with the county attorney because for this recall election, because he represents the recall.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
He told us, and he had a meeting with
Right.
them yesterday, and I'm assuming, I don't know what it was about, but I'm assuming he told them that, because he told us.
He told me
recall
personally
went
too,
forward,
that he had to do it by written letter, but he's withdrawing from that. He's not representing.
So he's done.
He's
Yeah.
done.
So if I need advice on the recall
He's-
election.
He's the guy.
Okay.
Statutes, process.
Yeah, that's what he told us.
I would verify to make sure that he has.
I've done it, but yeah.
Timing wise, he was here yesterday and he was gonna put a note, a letter in. He may be doing it by Monday.
I didn't
So
mean
I
to
guess-
interrupt you, but
So I guess I have a question back for you then. If that is the case, are you comfortable with that?
Yes and no. I mean, I'm assuming as a attorney that he's gonna be.
He has no vested interest in nothing.
Straight.
Interest.
And there's not a lot of times that I need an attorney, but once in a while I do.
You will.
you can reach out to him and ask him. Just say, have you divorced yourself from the recall committee?
Yeah, and I
As
may
their
do that.
attorney,
so
I may just
I think
do
you probably should do that.
Should.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would think if you had a conversation with him, and then I would add to that. That if moving forward, then if you did need legal advice on this election, then. That is your prerogative whether to move forward with the county attorney or whether you acquired other services. You can do
that. Yeah,
either. I realize that if you go outside, it costs more money, but
Find the money.
Right.
I don't.
all right.
I don't
may just
think
have a
this-
conversation with them.
Yeah, I think whatever you are, my opinion would be whatever you are comfortable with.
Yeah, I wouldn't think you'd want to operate on what we're telling you secondhand. You probably need to talk to him directly. But Kevin asked him that question specifically, and he said he would not represent them if the recall went forward.
Be hard to recuse himself from that. It's too intertwined.
So. Anything else then from you? So yeah, I guess just keep us in the loop on that. Brings us to public comment. If anybody has anything they would like to comment, I'm looking online. Not seeing any hands raised.
Move to adjourn.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Those in favor?
I
Aye.
take some of the pressure off the old chairman.
Thank you. Meeting is adjourned.
It's really adjourn the meeting.
That doesn't happen in a while, does it? All right.
Probably should have more motion.